On day 1, I spawned in by the remains of a crashed ship as the imposter from Among Us. Wow, it'll be hard to tell me apart from a crew member, even though I'm just a baby imposter. It's a good thing I survived the crash, but I couldn't stay relaxed for long. A soul vulture walked up to me, and it looked hungry. Guess I'm about to find out if imposters have souls. The soul vulture looked like it was about to attack me, but it was suddenly hit with an energy blast and exploded. I turned to see who fired the blast and saw a red Among Us captain walking towards me. Oh, thank goodness, you saved my life, Captain.
Enough blubbering, recruit. We lost enough good men when we crashed onto this planet. Do you know what happened to the imposter?
He knew about me. I needed to stay in character, and that meant I needed to trick him. The imposter? I bet it was destroyed when the ship crashed.
Unlikely. The imposter is too crafty for that. Listen, we have 100 days of supplies. In that time, we need to rebuild the ship, destroy the imposter, and get out of here. Now make yourself useful and go find the other crew members.
Sir, yes, sir. As I walked away, I thought about how crafty and tough the red captain seemed. If I couldn't outsmart him in the next 100 days, I'd be toast. On day 2, I left the red captain to his own devices and ventured out to search for a solution to my problems. I've only got 10 hearts. Something as dangerous as the red captain and his Among Us crew would eat me alive the way I am right now. Speaking of eating me alive, while I was walking along, I was approached by a group of vicious tarantula hawks. This planet has some really dangerous animals. Without any weapons or abilities, there was no way I could fight off against these monster bugs and survive. I ran off as fast as I could until I'd lost them. As I was regaining my strength, I saw another Among Us crew member approaching. This one was blue.
You! Are you a friendly?
Yes, Red Captain sent me out on a recon mission. With that, the blue crew member seemed to relax and approach.
Good. You can't be too careful these days. It's possible that the imposter survived the crash. I'm Corporal Blue. Who are you?
I'm Zozo. Waiting further orders, sir.
Then follow me. Another survivor set up an encampment near here. He outranks us, so we should go see him.
Sir, yes, sir. Lead the way. Corporal Blue started walking, and I followed him, relieved that he bought my story. On day 3, I followed Corporal Blue over to the encampment he told me about. A tough-looking orange Among Us was waiting for us next to the fire.
This another survivor, Corporal?
Sir, yes, sir.
Well, he's not much to look at, but after the crash, I suppose we have to take what we can get. I dispatched people across the surface of this planet to search for more. I'm Sergeant Orange. What do they call you?
I'm Zozo, sir. Basic recruit. I'm not very strong yet, but I'll always do my best.
Heartwarming. You need to get yourself some weapons and set up another encampment. Stat! There's safety in numbers. We need to root out and destroy the imposter as soon as we can.
But Sergeant, if you don't mind me asking, why does this imposter even want to hurt us?
That's classified, son. Just follow your orders and start building the base and equipment. We have 97 days to get off this mudball of a planet, and we have no time to waste.
With that, Corporal Blue and I headed off to work on Sergeant Orange's demands. They were still none the wiser that I was the imposter among them. From day 4 to day 5, Corporal Blue and I found a nice place to start working on our base.
First and foremost, recruit, we're gonna need a crafting bench and a wooden pickaxe. Start busting down some trees.
I'll get right on it, sir. After some lumberjacking, I built myself a crafting bench and a wooden pickaxe. Then I mined into the ground and collected enough stone to build myself a stone pickaxe and stone sword.
Good work, soldier. Now start building that base.
Using the rest of the wood and stone, I started building a base. It was basic at first, with 2 separate rooms for the Corporal Blue and I.
This is looking good, recruit, but we don't have time to rest. Some hostile creatures are approaching. Go stop them.
Sir, yes, sir. I ran off and intercepted some tarantula hawks, and this time I had a stone sword to fight them off. It didn't take long to defeat them, and that gave me the XP to upgrade. I now had 30 hearts, and I also unlocked an energy blast cannon. This is gonna come in handy later. From day 6 to day 8, I went exploring, hoping to find some time away from the Among Us crew members so I could figure out some kind of plan. To be the true imposter, I need to outsmart and defeat all the crew members. I'm not strong enough yet, and I need to gain their trust. But while wandering along, I happened upon a green mungus being chased by some bubble parasites. Maybe if I helped him, they'd trust me more. Don't worry, fellow crew member, I'm coming to help you. I ran in with my stone sword and defeated the bubble parasites, saving the green crew member.
Wow, you really saved my bacon there. I was worried my goose was cooked.
All these food metaphors are making me hungry. Wanna come back to my base?
I would, but Red Captain sent me out here to destroy the bubble monster. But I couldn't even defeat its bubble parasites.
Then let's go together. Maybe we can defeat it with our powers combined. So the two of us went off to defeat the bubble monster. From day 9 to day 10, I followed the Green Mungus crew member until we saw the bubble monster wandering around. It looked way scarier than the bubble parasites. I can see why you had trouble fighting this thing. Let me see what I can do. I ran in and fired an energy blast against the bubble monster, but that only seemed to make it angry. It ran towards me, and considering how strong it was, I knew that all I could do was run away. I met back up with the green crew member. You're right, that bubble monster is way too tough to take on now. Let's head back to my base. We'll pool our resources and take this monster on later.
You seem to really know what you're doing. I'll follow you. Let's go.
So I started leading the crew member back to my base, having gained the trust of another Mungus. From day 11 to day 12, I returned back to my base with the green crew member and started building a new floor and a new room. The more people I could have around at any given time, the less anyone would suspect of me being the imposter. By the time the new room was done, the green crew member approached me with some exciting news.
I've been working on another section of the base. I figured we might need our storage areas ready for weapons and equipment.
That's excellent, fellow crew member. Let's go take a look. Green had built an excellent storage room, perfect for supplying what was left of the Mungus military. They were only going to get stronger as time went on. I need to make sure all of my own tools are up to date. I found a mine where I could dig up some old iron ore and took it back to the base. I began to smelt that iron until I had enough to make an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. Then I returned to see how Green was doing, making sure to act natural. Green, just between you and me, do you have any idea what the Red Captain is planning for us?
It goes above my pay grade, comrade. But I do know that Red Captain is calling in reinforcements, and he wants us to acquire heavy weaponry and supplies for some kind of secret mission.
Fair enough. I guess I'll work on buffing out our supplies. I spent the rest of the day building a paddock to store some sheep in, and then herding some sheep into it, wondering what exactly the Red Captain had planned for us all. From day 13 to day 15, Corporal Blue came to give me some new orders.
Recruit, I want you to go out and search for other lost crew members. The more people we can bring in to help us build our encampments, the better.
Sir, yes, sir. I went out into the further reaches of this strange new planet, pretending that I was doing exactly what Corporal Blue wanted, while I was secretly planning on sabotaging it all. That's what being the imposter is all about. And while I was out searching, I ran into a pair of Munguses.
You're on our side, right?
Yeah, but nobody seems to tell me what the mission is. Do you know?
That's on a need-to-know basis, kid, and you don't need to know.
Then I guess that's all we have to say to each other. I shot one of the Munguses with an energy blast, and then pulled out my new iron sword to take on the other. Soon enough, both were defeated. Looks like I'm really living up to the imposter mantle. That's when I noticed that one of the Munguses dropped some kind of scientific healing serum. Don't mind if I do. I drank the health serum and found myself getting bigger and stronger. I now had 60 hearts and the ability to shapeshift. This is gonna make me a better imposter than ever before. From day 16 to day 19, I continued searching after defeating the pair of patrolling Munguses. I'm glad nobody is around. If anyone saw me fighting those Munguses, they'd know I'm a fake immediately. While walking around, I found a book on the ground. It seemed like it was some kind of military journal from one of the Munguses stranded on the planet. I picked it up and took a look inside.
This crash has seriously affected the timeline of the mission. We lost half our crew, and the rest is scattered all around the planet. We need to find and destroy the imposter that brought us down. Once we've gotten rid of him, we can continue the extermination plans.
Extermination plans? I'm beginning to think these Munguses don't have the kindest intentions here. Before I could think too hard about what was happening, I was ambushed by another Mungus. He must have seen me taking out those other crew members. Thankfully, with my iron sword, it wasn't hard to defeat him. I just needed to go back to my base now and ensure that nobody suspected a thing. From day 20 to day 22, I returned to my base, covering my tracks to make sure nobody knew about my conflicts with the other Munguses. On the way back, I fought a gang of bubble parasites, which were even easier to defeat than they were before. I'm really getting into the hang of this whole imposter thing. I arrived back at my base and smelted the rest of my iron to create some iron armor, which would improve my defenses against attackers of any kind. I finally felt ready to go and settle an old score. I went out to battle the bubble monster that seemed unbeatable a few weeks ago, but with my new sword and armor, it didn't take me long to bring him down. That's another win for Zozo!
Good work, son, but we're only just getting started.
I turned and saw the Red Captain was approaching. I waved to him, trying to hide my nervousness. Red Captain, what a lovely surprise!
Not all surprises are lovely, Zozo. Case in point, this situation with the imposter, he's undermining our authority. I saw that a few of my soldiers went missing. He must be behind it.
Is this all delaying the extermination plan?
Because I like you, I'm not gonna ask how you know about that. But tread carefully, Zozo. You never know when something dangerous is just around the corner.
From day 23 to day 26, I returned to my base to deliver the good news to the Green Mungus recruit. I did it! I finally beat the bubble monster.
That's great! I knew you could do it!
Thank you for having faith in me.
Of course! Your strength is my strength, comrade!
With that, I left the base and wandered for a bit to clear my head. I wanted to tell him the truth, but I couldn't. I had to keep the fact that I was an imposter to myself until I could figure out what to do about the extermination plan. I found a book containing the fire aspect enchantment that would really boost my sword power. This is amazing! I can use this to enchant my sword and give it the ability to set targets on fire. I rushed back to my base and used the book to enchant my sword, and some of my remaining iron to fix it up. When I was finished, the Green Mungus came over to talk to me again.
Zozo, while you were out, I built an additional paddock to contain any more sheep or other livestock you might find. I hope this proves useful.
That's great! You work really fast. I'm impressed. Looking at the awesome upgrades to the paddock that the green recruit had made, part of me just hoped he wasn't in on whatever evil plan was afoot. From day 27 to day 31, I went back out to explore the Red Rock Highlands. While I was looking around, I was approached by a group of munguses. Uh-oh, I hope they're not onto me.
Hey, you're the guy who got rid of the bubble monster, right?
Yeah, I am. I was pretty relieved that was their question.
If you're that good of a fighter, we definitely want to stick with you. Have a safe place that we can hang out?
Sure thing. You can stay at my base for as long as you want. I sent the munguses back to my base and continued exploring. I gathered some sand to make some glass in the furnace, then headed back to my base to use it. I used the glass to add some new windows to the base so I would be able to see outside whenever I was hanging out inside. As I finished adding the windows, the Blue Mungus Corporal approached me.
Recruit, our sergeant needs our assistance. He is currently under attack, and we need to get there and help out immediately.
Sir, yes, sir! From day 32 to day 35, I followed the Blue Mungus Corporal to where the Orange Mungus Sergeant was being attacked. I saw a group of tarantula hawks fighting with the sergeant, and I sprang into action. I used my newly enchanted sword to attack the tarantula hawks with fire, but there were so many of them. While I was focused on fighting one group of them, another group managed to take down the sergeant before I could save him.
No!
The Mungus Corporal rushed over, but it was too late to do anything to help the sergeant. He was gone. I'm so sorry about the sergeant, sir.
As am I, but sadly, that is what happens on the battlefield sometimes. We must press on.
It's still sad, though.
You're a curious man, recruit. Sometimes I'd swear you don't act like Among Us at all.
I started to get a little nervous when he said that.
It's refreshing. Thank you. No time to stand here talking. We'd better get moving.
From day 36 to day 39, I went back to the meadow. Before I had a chance to explore very much, a Green Mungus recruit came running up to me.
Zozo, help! The Red Captain sent me to clear this area of hostile forces, but I'm not strong enough to beat this Ender Creeper. If I get too close, I'm scared it'll blow up and take me with it. Could you come fight it with me?
Sure thing, let's go! The Green Mungus and I sprinted over to the area where the Ender Creeper was still, well, creeping around. Taste the energy blast, you creepy creeper! I shot an energy blast at the Ender Creeper. Then I attacked with my enchanted sword and burned him up. Before long, that Ender Creeper was toast, literally.
You really are an amazing fighter. Thank you so much for your help. We'll definitely be able to use you for the special mission.
Right, the special mission. Which mission was that again?
No, the Captain's special secret mission. The one dealing with the imposter home planet. Don't tell me you haven't heard about it.
Oh, that plan! No, I totally heard about it. After the Green Mungus ran off, I was left alone to wonder what he meant. What could the Captain be planning to do with my home planet? From day 40 to day 43, I headed back to my base. I couldn't stop thinking about what the Green Mungus had told me. The imposter home planet. I guess that's where I'm from too. What's the captain going to do to it? I wish I could get him to tell me about the extermination plan. I get the feeling it's nothing good. I didn't have time to ask myself any more questions because when I got to my base, the blue Among Us corporal was waiting for me.
Recruit, I've been hard at work in your absence. Take a look at this new guard tower, which will add a necessary line of defense to the base.
Whoa, that looks awesome. I feel safer already.
I'm pleased to hear that. I want to invite additional recruits to the base so that they can take shelter here and avoid potential attacks by the imposter.
Sounds like a great idea. More Munguses arrived at the base, and I showed them to their room. There's plenty of space for everyone. Next, the Mungus I met earlier came up to talk to me.
Zozo, we need your help again! The Red Captain is requesting as many of us as possible to go to his coordinates and help him with a special task. We could use your fighting skills. Will you join us?
Sure. Hey, maybe he'll tell us more about that secret project. From day 44 to day 49, myself and the different Munguses went in different directions to go and meet up with the Red Captain. We went different ways, so if the imposter ambushed either of us, at least one group would survive, although he didn't know I was the imposter all along. Or did he? When I arrived at the Red Captain's coordinates, I got a nasty surprise. The captain was there alone, waiting for me. What had happened to all the others? Red Captain, the Munguses said you wanted to see me. You needed as many troops as possible. What's happening?
Tonight, we're finally gonna destroy the imposter, young recruit.
Oh, have you found him? Where is he?
Simple. He's standing right in front of me. Now don't be silly, son. If you move any step in any direction, I'll vaporize you with a well-placed energy blast.
But I'm not the imposter, sir. I swear.
Don't waste your last breaths on lies, imposter. I've been watching you all along, following your movements carefully. You think you're slick? I know exactly what you are.
At this point, I was terrified. I was frozen in place with no idea what to do. So are you going to destroy me then?
Thankfully, I won't need to make the effort. Something special survived the ship's crash. A security golem, perfectly designed for destroying sneaky little imposters like you.
The Red Captain walked away, and in walked the terrifying security golem. My secret was out, and now the robot was going to give me a real run for my money. I fired an energy blast at him, and he was completely unfazed. Time for me to see how strong I really am. From day 50 to day 53, the security golem began its onslaught. It fired its laser at me, and I barely managed to dodge. As the robot ran in, I unleashed the flame-enchanted iron sword on him, striking him again and again until the flame effect burned through his armor and ate away at his circuits. Soon enough, after a hard fight, the security golem collapsed, defeated. When it disappeared, it dropped 3 things: a tricked-out crossbow, arrows, and a data log. A data log that just happened to contain the true details of the Red Captain's extermination plan.
We've been at war with those pesky imposters for decades now, but this time we're gonna deal with them once and for all. If we can send a big enough Mungus army with enough heavy artillery at their disposal, we can wipe out the entire imposter planet once and for all and end this pesky, expensive war.
I was horrified by what I saw. So the extermination plan was to exterminate my entire home planet? That's awful. I need to put a stop to this myself. But after the Red Captain uncovered my secret, I had no idea who was still on my side. I guess I just need to find out. From day 54 to day 57, I started heading back to my base. On the way there, I ran into a gang of Munguses loyal to the Red Captain.
Well, 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 if it isn't the imposter. I always knew that you were a little sus. He told us to wait here in case you survived the security droid. The Red Captain always thinks of everything.
Yeah, including trying to exterminate all of my people. That must be why I was sent to sabotage your mission. You were going to do something pure evil.
There is no evil in war, Zozo. Only winners and losers, and the winners get to decide who was right all along.
But I wasn't going to listen to these Munguses excuse their evil boss's actions. I pulled out my new crossbow and expertly sent a bolt at each of them. They dropped a strength potion, which I grabbed and added to my inventory. You never know when you'll need this. I returned to my base and immediately ran up to the Corporal Blue. I had no idea if the Red Captain had already told him the truth, but there was only one way to find out.
Zozo, you look exhausted. Is everything okay?
Perfect. He didn't know. I could still spin this. Corporal Blue, I found out some terrible news. Red Captain was the imposter all along. He was infiltrated before we even got into the spaceship. He's been planning against us all along.
That's diabolical, but also the perfect cover. Who would ever suspect the captain? It's just you and me now, Zozo. We only have each other.
At least now I knew I still had Corporal Blue on my side. But for how long? From day 58 to day 62, relieved that Corporal Blue hadn't caught on to the truth about me yet, I continued working on my base. I introduced more sheep to my paddock just to make sure we'd always have more than we needed. But wool wasn't the only thing I wanted to get my hands on. I returned again to the underground mine, going down deeper than I ever have before. After breaking through stone for hours on end, I was finally able to collect plenty of diamonds. These are exactly what I need to make myself stronger, offensively and defensively. The Red Captain would probably appreciate that if he didn't hate my guts. I went back to my base and created a full set of diamond armor, a diamond pickaxe, and a diamond sword. This is more like it! Now that I was fully armed and armored, Corporal Blue approached me yet again, this time with some interesting news.
Zozo, come over here. I've created a valuable new base addition. It's a planning room where we can discuss our next moves against the imposter in private.
I went over and took a look at the new room. It was an amazing creation that clearly came from extensive military experience. I can't even imagine a better place to plan, sir.
Good, because we're going to need to do a lot of planning. If the imposter has truly taken the role of the Red Captain, we're both in grave danger.
From day 63 to day 66, I met with Corporal Blue in the planning room so that we could come up with our next step.
If my intelligence is correct, I believe there may be some important information about the imposter, or rather, the Red Captain, in a nearby area. I need you to be my eyes and ears, Zozo. Will you go inspect the area?
You got it, sir. I'll head there right now. I traveled to the fungal patch immediately, and I found a grove full of huge mushrooms. Looks like there's a fungus among us.
That's a pretty good joke, but I'm afraid the plight of my people is no laughing matter.
I turned around and saw a mushroom lord standing there. He grabbed my sword just in case he decided to try and attack me.
Have you come to invade our home, to kick me and my people out of the place we've lived for years?
No, I don't want to kick anyone out of anywhere. I'm trying to stop the Red Captain from hurting anyone.
If this is true, then you and I have something in common. You look like them, but you behave differently. Perhaps we could be friends, and you could aid me in defending my fellow mushroom people.
Definitely. What can I do to help?
There are enemy forces nearby attempting to drive us out of the area so they can set up a base here. Help me defeat them and protect my home.
You got it. I'm Zozo, by the way.
My name is Lord Chungus.
From day 63 to day 70, I followed Lord Chungus to a nearby house where a bunch of munguses were attacking.
Hey, come help us get rid of these mushrooms.
No can do. They deserve to keep their home. They were here first.
What are you, some kind of traitor? Get him!
The munguses rushed at me, but I hit them with an energy blast. Then I attacked with my sword, and it wasn't too long before I had defeated all of them. I looked around just to make sure no munguses were watching me. Phew, the coast is clear. Everyone here should be safe now, Lord Chungus.
Thank you for your help, Zozo. The mushroom people will tell your story for generations to come.
That's really nice. Thanks. It's good to feel like I'm actually helping. I was starting to worry I might be the bad guy here.
Not bad at all. You're a hero.
From day 71 to day 74, I decided to keep exploring, and I wandered over towards my base. As I walked, I spotted a note on a tree. What's this say? It says to make sure and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more adventures like this one. And don't forget to search Zozo to find more awesome Minecraft videos. Nice note. When I was close to home, I started looking around for useful materials. Before I could find anything, the Red Captain surprised me from behind.
There you are, imposter. I knew I'd find you skulking around here somewhere. You may have survived the security droid, but that was just luck. This time, you won't be so lucky.
I know what your plan is. You're trying to destroy the imposter home planet. That's terrible. People are just trying to live there, and they're not bothering anyone.
False! They are bothering me, but bothering all of us. Their very existence is a threat, as is yours. But you won't trouble me for much longer.
He attacked me, and I tried to attack back with my newly upgraded diamond sword, but it barely left a scratch on him. Uh-oh, he's still way too strong for me. I need to get out of here. I fired an energy blast to distract the red captain, and then I ran out of there as fast as I could. From day 75 to day 78, I ran all the way back to my base. I was scared that the red captain would follow me, but I managed to get back safe and sound. I was way too close for comfort. I can't believe I had to run off instead of fighting him. Such a disappointment to my people. I went to my room to be alone and think about what I could do to fight better next time. After a little while, Corporal Blue came in to see me.
Recruit, I know you're feeling disappointed, but now is not the time to get lost in despair. Come, take a look at this. I added an armory to the base so we can store additional weapons and be prepared for anything.
I followed him towards the new high-tech armory that he had built. Oh wow, this does look really awesome. And you building it means you really believe in me. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, I also have this growth serum for you. Drink it and find the strength you require.
Sir, yes, sir. I drank the growth serum and felt myself getting stronger. My hearts increased to 100, and I also felt like I could take on the world with my newfound strength. This is just what I needed. From day 79 to day 84, I went back to the orchard to see if the red captain was there. With my new strength, I had a feeling I would do much better this time. But when I got there, he was nowhere to be found. There were some tarantula hawks lurking around though, and I tested out my new strength on them. They were so much easier to defeat this time around. I'm getting so much better at this. Awesome! A skulk scorpion saw me fight the tarantula hawks and came over to talk to me.
Yo, that was pretty cool. You some kind of hero or something?
I hope so.
Sure seems like it. What's your name, hero?
Zozo.
I like your energy, Zozo. I've got this thing. I've been waiting for the right person to give it to, and I think that person might be you. Here, take these shark-tooth arrows.
Oh, thanks. I can use these with my crossbow.
Nice. Get you on the flip side, Z-Man.
From day 85 to day 89, I went back to my base to show Corporal Blue my new shark-tooth arrow. But when I got there, I saw a bunch of munguses attacking the base.
That'll show him. That's what happens to imposters. Yeah.
Hey, stop that!
Look, there he is. Let's get him.
Not if I get you first. I attacked the munguses with my new and improved strength.
Yikes, he's strong. Let's get out of here.
Not so fast. I ran after the munguses, but along the way, I saw a pigorus that looked really upset. Hey, what's going on?
Oh, I need some help! I lost my favorite book somewhere around here, but I can't find it!
Let me see if I can find it. I looked around, and I found the book. I took it back to the pigorus.
Thank you! I wish I could give you something in return, but I don't have anything. Those munguses took everything I have.
Don't worry about it. I'm happy to help. Did you see what way they went?
Yes, they went that way, where the shuttle is.
From day 90 to day 94, I followed the mungus's tail to the new shuttle, the base that the Red Captain was making to escape the planet. I don't want to get too close. If I do, then the Red Captain's guards will come running out to get me. I'll just focus on that group of munguses that attacked my base. I watched the munguses all go inside, and a member of their group I hadn't seen before came out of the shuttle. That robot golem, he must have been behind the attack. The robot golem spotted me and ran toward me.
I sure was. The Red Captain sent me. I'm his right-hand man, and I'm going to make sure you don't cause him any more trouble. Prepare to be destroyed, Zozo.
Uh-oh, guess it's time for a fight. I fired an energy blast to start, but it didn't have any effect at all. Next, I tried my sword, but he didn't seem to be hurt by that either. This guy's really tough. This is gonna be my hardest fight yet. I decided to drink my strength potion and push forwards. From day 95 to day 97, I continued my fight with the robot golem. He was really tough, the toughest enemy I'd fought so far. For a little while there, I thought I might be a goner. Oh no you don't, I have a planet to save. I thought about all the imposters that would be lost if I didn't save them, and I summoned the strength to defeat the robot golem. When I beat him, I noticed that he dropped a book on the ground. Hey, what's this? I picked it up. These look like the access codes. Wait a second, I bet these are the access codes to the Red Captain's base. With these, I can get inside and surprise him. That might help me win. but I wasn't ready to just run there all of a sudden. I need to get ready if I'm going to go into the captain's base. I'll only get one shot at this, so I'll need to be as strong and as prepared as possible. Back to the base! On day 98, I headed back to my base to prepare for my big battle against the Red Captain. I've only got a couple days left before he tries to exterminate my home planet. I've got to work fast! As I got to work practicing my fighting, the Blue Corporal came up to talk to me.
Zozo, I have to confess something to you. I know that you're not who you say you are. I know you're the imposter.
You do? Are you going to try to destroy me?
No, I'm not. I've looked into what the Red Captain has planned, and that's not what I signed on for. I don't want to be part of destroying a planet full of creatures who aren't doing anything wrong. So even if it goes against everything I thought I knew, I will still stand with you. I'm counting on you to defeat the Red Captain, Zozo. Not just to save your people, but to restore honor to us all, to remind me what it means to be among us.
I will definitely do my best. Thank you, sir.
Oh, one more thing. Take this potion of strength. You'll need it before the final battle.
I took the potion and drank it, and I felt the strength coursing through me. I was finally ready! On day 99, I traveled toward the Red Captain's shuttle. As I did, I passed the Pigorus who sent me to find his book.
Thank you again for what you did, Zozo. It really made my day. Whatever you do next, I know you'll do a great job.
Hey, thanks. I continued on my way until I finally reached the shuttle. There were a bunch of Among Us guards stationed outside, way too many for me to try and take on at once. Oh no, what should I do now?
How about assistance from a fun guy?
I turned to see the Mushroom Lord standing behind me. Lord Chungus, you came to help.
I certainly did. Now I'll handle these miscreants out here. You head on inside and unseat the tyrant Red Captain. It will be an honor to fight by your side, Zozo.
You too. Lord Chungus rushed in and started attacking the Munguses. And while Lord Chungus kept the guards busy, I put in the access codes and used them to open the door to the shuttle. Then I ran inside. On day 100, I entered the Red Captain's lair to finally confront him once and for all. I'm back, Captain. Come out and face me.
Imposter, it's time to finally face your fate. I will happily be your judge, jury, and executioner.
You think you're so much stronger than me, but you aren't. I'm going to take you down. I drew my sword and attacked. He dodged my hit, but I didn't give up. I got some distance between us and got out my crossbow and new shark-tooth arrows. I fired an arrow at the Red Captain and it hit.
It's too late. I'm gonna exterminate your planet, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Liar! I'm going to stop you! I fired another arrow and it hit, but he was still up. He came at me and attacked, but I dodged.
If I don't destroy you, one of the others will. Everyone knows what you are now.
And everyone knows which you are too, a villain! He came at me and hit me hard, but I didn't fall down. I kept going. I fired an energy blast and finished him off with my sword. Finally, the Red Captain was defeated. I can't believe it. It's finally over. I hope that Corporal Blue was able to tell the other Munguses what was going on, but at least my planet will be safe. When I made it back to my base, everyone had come back. After they learned Red Captain's plan, they realized he wasn't someone that they wanted to follow. With him out of the way, imposters and Munguses could finally coexist in peace. On day 1, I spawned in as a zombie warden. Whoa, I guess I must be a warden who was revived into a zombie. What are the chances? I only had 6 hearts to start with, probably because I had just been brought back. I'll bet I can become a lot stronger than this. It looks like I already had the physical strength of a zombie and the senses of a warden. I could also perform a wicked sonic boom. Even after becoming a zombie, I've still got it. I realized that I was inside of some musty old tomb. There was a necromancer nearby who seemed to be jumping for joy.
Yes, I have done it! After so many tries, I have turned a warden into a zombie! Now my creation will serve me and do my bidding!
Whoa there, guy. I just got here. Don't I get to choose whether or not I do your bidding?
Free will? I guess I need to use a stronger control spell.
The necromancer started slinging magic at me. It was probably the control spell he mentioned. I didn't want to be controlled, so I started to run away. I ran off into a hallway of the tomb and found cover against the necromancer's spells. He was not happy about that. You will serve me! Get him, Reaper! An undead Reaper was summoned and ran towards me, chasing me, but I found a hole in the wall and squeezed through. On the other side were a bunch of coffins and gravestones. I guess I could rest here since I'm a zombie. I'll find a way out of this place tomorrow so I can stay free. On day 2, I took my first steps towards freedom and entered a forest inside of a cave. I thought that the way to the surface must have been somewhere around here. I could see perfectly in the darkness because of my warden senses, so I punched one of the trees and gathered enough wood to make a wooden axe and pickaxe. This forest was way bigger than I expected. I realized that I had no idea how to get to the surface from here, but I was determined to keep exploring this place until I did. I soon found out that I wasn't alone. There was some kind of warrior ghost floating around near a mysterious monument which was emitting a strong light.
Greetings! You must be another one of that necromancer's pawns, or at least you were.
I'm nobody's pawn. The name is Zozo, and I'm looking for a way out of this tomb so I can start a new life on the outside.
You're lucky you can move around so freely. I am ghost-bound to this monument, but my spirit is too strong to be controlled by that necromancer.
So he tried to make you his servant too?
Yes, but be warned, the necromancer was not the most evil thing in this tomb. There is a more ancient and deadly force living deep below, and it too may try to keep you here.
Good to know. Thank you for the heads up. I continued to explore the forest and ran into some cave-dwelling mooses. It was honestly a good thing because I had gotten very hungry. I'm eating mooses tonight. Or wait, is the plural moose or mooses? Or is it meese? Whatever it was, the raw moose ribs I got from the fight tasted great. It seems like most zombies, I've got an all-meat diet. On day 3, I found a wide-open cavern where I could start building an underground base. I can't be much of a warden without a place to ward. I mined some stone so that I could build a small shelter for myself. With the material situation sorted for now, I started to build myself a temporary tent-like base. I would need to get more materials before I could make a high-quality base, but this would do for now. I heard a sound behind me, and my keen warden senses told me that it was a soul eater. I fired off a sonic boom to tell it not to mess with me, but it seemed to only make it madder. The soul eater ran towards me and attacked. You're not getting my soul today! I fought back with my zombie strength. The soul eater was a tough enemy, but my sonic boom had weakened it before we got into melee range, so I was able to win the fight. I felt the souls that the soul eater had collected enter me and began to feel my power grow. My number of hearts doubled to 12, and I even became slightly larger. Later, with the rest of the wood I gathered, I built a fence around my shelter. On days 4 to 5, I searched the forest cavern for more materials to use for my base and to protect myself. I wonder if the entrance of the tomb has any materials that I might have missed. Even though it was risky, I went back in the direction of the tomb. When I arrived at the entrance, I found that the necromancer was there waiting for me. You again! I already told you that I won't be controlled. I am a free zombie!
You have no idea what is coming for you, Zozo. The Demon King promised me great rewards if I could build an undead legion for his army.
The Demon King? Who is that?
He has waited countless eons to make his return. This tomb was where the ancient heroes of the past sealed him away. But now that he has come back, the world will belong to him. And I will do my part to ensure that.
The necromancer cast another confusion spell, but I countered it with a perfectly timed sonic boom that stopped it in midair. Nice try, but I won't work for you, and I won't work for the Demon King. I blocked another confusion spell with my sonic boom and drew my sword. I ran toward the necromancer and struck him down.
You foolish zombie! You could have been on the winning side, but now you will pay the price for being a traitor!
He crumbled into dust, leaving nothing behind. On days 6 to 8, I began digging into the walls of the cavern so that I could find a way towards the outside. My brand new tunnel quickly turned into a mine, and I was able to gather a ton of stone. I built myself a full set of stone armor. While I was at it, I also upgraded my tools to stone. It was just in time because a pack of kobolds showed up right after to attack my base and try to steal my materials. I fired a sonic boom, which startled them, and then I hacked and slashed with my stone sword until I took down the entire group. I was starting to get the hang of the zombie warden fighting style, but I knew I'd be able to get even stronger. These upgrades are only the beginning. On days 9 to 10, I was in my mine when my stone pickaxe started breaking through netherrack. A few minutes later, I broke out of the wall and onto the surface. But the surface world was not how I imagined it. It was overrun with monsters. The entire landscape was filled with lava. Is this the work of the Demon King? If I was going to survive out here on my own, I was going to need some better materials. I looked around the dark landscape to see if I could find any. That's when I ran into the Demon King himself.
It is so good to be free. Or should I say bad to be free? Bad for you, that is.
You must be the Demon King. I'm the zombie warden of the tomb. Call me Zozo.
So, you're the one who defeated that necromancer and made me lose my undead army. No matter, I never needed them anyway. I will conquer the world without the undead.
He swiped his sword at me faster than I could let out a sonic boom. That one blow took out a lot of my health, and I could tell right then and there that the Demon King was too strong for me to defeat.
What's the matter, Zozo? Are you scared?
Yeah, a little. That's why I'm getting out of here. I turned and ran back towards my underground base. For some reason, the Demon King didn't choose to follow me.
Why would I return to the tomb I was sealed in? I have the whole world to destroy now.
When I arrived back at the hillside, I was surprised to see a familiar enemy. It was the Reaper that the necromancer had summoned to fight me. Back for more, Reaper?
Not at all. I came to thank you for setting me free from that spellcaster's control.
Oh, I guess we're cool then.
We're more than cool. I saw the way you stood up to the Demon King. Perhaps we can work together and take him down.
But I ran away.
You ran away a second more than anyone else, which means you're braver than you know. Besides, if we want to keep our freedom, we'll have to face him eventually. He'll send another necromancer to control us before long.
Point taken. I guess it's you and me, Reaper.
Please, call me Grimsley.
On days 11 to 12, I invited Grimsley back to my base and began to build another structure to house him. While I was at it, I popped my tent back up, then decided that wasn't enough. So I turned my tent into a watchtower. That way, I could observe what was happening on the surface while I was in my base. I spent some time out in the surface world gathering materials to craft new items. The surface world had a lot of warped stems, and I made sure to get as much as I could. I then proceeded to explore the area some more. I mean, who knows what I might find here? While I was exploring, I spotted a mob. It was headed my way, so I got ready for a fight. I blasted the approaching lava monster with my sonic boom, but it didn't do much damage. My stone weapons also had no effect on the creature at all. Oh no, I'm too weak. I need to get a better weapon and come back. I disappeared into the forest and retreated away from the battlefield. Using some of my leftover stone, I crafted myself a brand new mace for combat. It was a slow weapon, but it had a lot of power, and that suited me just fine. The next time I saw that lava monster, I took him down in one hit. Hooray! Now this is a weapon I can use! I decided not to stop there. The mace was great, but I could use a durable set of armor to match. Some iron tools wouldn't hurt either. I went back to my personal mineshaft and began to dig for iron. It didn't take me too long to find enough to improve my tools and armor level. I smelted the iron down and crafted myself a full set of iron armor and tools. On days 13 to 15, the ghost of the ancient warrior called me to his side and told me the tale of the Demon King.
100 years ago, the world was under attack by a Demon King and his army of demons and monsters. The big evil guy had succeeded in uniting the demons, the undead mobs, and the two-headed ogre tribe into an unstoppable fighting force. The villagers and animals tried to stand against the Demon King, but they were no match. It seemed that all hope was lost, until one day, the legendary heroes appeared. I was one of them. Together, myself and my companions used our legendary weapons to strike deadly blows on the Demon King, weakening him enough for our cleric to trap him inside of the tomb we now stand inside. It seems as though the seal held for exactly 100 years before being broken. I can only imagine that this is because there were no heroes powerful enough to use that spell in the modern day.
So you're saying that even you and the other legendary heroes couldn't defeat the Demon King back then, and then the only way was to seal him, even though it didn't last?
It's better than letting him rampage around and do whatever he wants.
I don't know. Even if there was somebody who could cast the sealing spell these days, would it even matter? It's like putting a band-aid on a broken sword. I'm sorry, but it doesn't sound like there is anything that can be done. On days 16 to 19, I couldn't find Grimsley anywhere in the base, even in the house I built for him. Grimsley wouldn't just leave without telling me. I better look for him. It was a good thing I was part warden, because wardens are really good at finding things. I wandered out farther than I ever had before, to a hill with dark grass and strange ruins on top of it. I spotted Grimsley, but he wasn't alone. There was another mob there, and it looked like it was wearing a magic robe. Oh no, another necromancer has tried to capture Grimsley. I got closer, and I saw that I was correct. The cloaked figure had him enclosed in a ritual circle, and Grimsley was trapped.
Zozo, is that you? Help me!
Don't worry, Grimsley, I'll save you! I fired a sonic boom, which disrupted the necromancer's chanting. He got angry and fired some evil bolts at me. I circled around the hill, using the ruins as cover. I managed to catch him by surprise and wind up an overhead smash with my mace. See you later! The magic circle collapsed when the caster was defeated, and Grimsley was set free.
Well done, Zozo. I thought I was gonna be controlled again for sure.
Don't worry, buddy. I gotcha. Neither of us will ever be controlled again. This time, the Demon King won't have the help of the undead. We'll be fighting against him.
That's the spirit. Or should I say, we're the spirits.
Inspired by Grimsley's words, I felt myself begin to grow and change. My number of hearts increased to 20, and I also gained increased melee damage. Zombie-rific! It was just in time, too, because we were joined by a troop of knights. Their leader wore ice armor.
Freeze, undead servants of the Demon King! I, Sir Frost, will put you on ice.
It's cool. We don't actually work for the Demon King, and we're gonna make sure no other undead has to either.
Oh, pardon the misunderstanding then. I'll be off to continue facing his forces and searching for the legendary blade of demon sealing.
Wait, a blade like that exists?
We certainly hope so. It is said to contain the magic of the cleric who sealed him the first time.
Well, if you need any help, you know who to call. Me, Zozo. On days 20 to 22, I went back to the base, only to find it overrun with giant centipedes. All right, you bugs, prepare to get squashed. They were quick, but not very tough, so I used my sword instead of my mace. I figured this place needed a statue, one that would show those knights that allies could be found here, in the remnants of the Demon King's tomb. It would have to be brave and mighty, not to mention cool. Sir Frost will be so impressed that he'll make me his second in command. Plus, he's probably the modern-day descendant of one of those legendary heroes who beat the Demon King. That's how it usually works. I needed white and blue for the statue to really look like him, so I went to gather some dolomite and lapis. I managed to mine quite a bit of the materials I needed and went back to the base. With access to those materials, I could start working on the statue. It was really starting to come together and look like a base of something great. What do you think it'll be? While you're leaving a comment on what you think it'll be, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you can see more of my amazing adventures. On days 23 to 26, the kobolds returned in even greater numbers. This time, they had some ranged weapons on them too. I guess kobolds were craftier than I thought. Fortunately, my melee damage had gotten stronger and I could easily deal with them. One of the kobolds I defeated dropped a bow and a quiver full of poison-tipped arrows. This would make a good backup ranged weapon for my sonic boom. Since there were no necromancers to cast spells on me, I took a trip down into the depths of the tomb. It looked like they had been taken over by a den of slimes and spiders, and they were in the middle of a territory struggle. Am I interrupting something? I cleared out the vermin and gathered up their webs and slime balls. Once I returned to the base, I was able to craft those materials into some leads. After I was done with that, I spotted another kobold jumping in front of my base and ran down to face it. Oh, hey, there's still another kobold back here. Back for another fight.
No way! I want to join you guys. The other kobolds were always mean to me.
Oh, I didn't know. Don't worry, buddy. I gotcha. I built a new house for the kobold and set him up with a workshop to make new weapons and gizmos.
Let me make it up to you by building some traps around the base for you.
On days 27 to 31, I returned to the forest and talked to the ancient warrior about the legendary blade that Sir Frost mentioned. Apparently, this blade can seal the Demon King away again. Does that sound like something that the other legendary warriors might have done?
It is possible that the cleric planned ahead and sealed one more spell into the legendary weapon, but I've been trapped here the whole time as a guardian ghost, so I have no idea what happened in those 100 years.
I suppose I'll have to go looking and see what the world is like out there.
The Demon King is most likely sending his minions to destroy whatever is left of the legendary hero's descendants. If you can find them first, one of them probably knows how to find the legendary blade.
Well then, there's no time to waste. Thanks, Ancient Warrior. I'm out of here. I journeyed out into the wilderness in search of the legacy that the legendary heroes left behind. I came upon a bridge over a deep ravine, which was guarded by a two-headed giant.
Just try to get past us. You won't.
Watch me. I shot a poison-tipped arrow into the giant and watched as their health started to get chipped away.
Why, you...
The giant charged right into the path of my swinging mace. Kapow! The hit knocked them back, causing them to stumble over the side of the ravine. The two-headed giant fell all the way to the bottom, but didn't disappear. I quickly ran across the bridge before they found a way back up. On days 32 to 35, I found a grove full of trees, and in it were a bunch of songbirds.
Hello, traveler. What brings you to this peaceful place?
My name is Zozo, and I'm here in search of a legendary blade that can seal the Demon King.
Oh, the Blade of the Cleric. This place was created by one of the other legendary heroes, so we've heard of it, but we're not sure where it is.
Darn it, this is still a very nice clearing. But wait, if it was made by the heroes, then... Just as I realized, the Demon King came rushing into the grove. He used his magic staff and destroyed half of the grove in one hit. Luckily, I'm here. Run away, birds. I'll distract him. The songbirds ran away just in time, as the Demon King was right next to me.
We meet again, Zozo. This time I'll destroy you.
It seemed like he meant it. He was immune to the poison of my arrows, and he closed in on me before I could use my sonic boom. Thinking quickly, I surprised him with my increased melee damage.
Impressive, but it will take more than that to defeat me.
I guess we'll find out next time. I ran off while the Demon King just stood there, laughing. But at least I lived to fight another day. Just as I got far enough away, I spotted one of the songbirds. I'm sorry about your home.
We'll be able to find a new home. You saved us, and that's what matters.
My base can be your new home.
Oh, sweet.
On days 36 to 39, I constructed an aviary where the birds could live as peacefully as they did back at the grove. Can you tell me anything else you know about the legendary heroes?
There were 4 of them in total. The warrior, the cleric, the singer, and the ice knight. The singer was the one who made our grove, and I hear that the ice knight founded an order of brave warriors who dwell in the snowy north.
That sounds like Sir Frost and his companions. I should go visit them.
The good thing about the north is that it's very well protected. The Demon King will have to spend a lot of resources to claim it. If there's another place where his forces can be resisted, it would be there.
Awesome! I should get prepared and make this alliance official. The undead can team up with the knights, and together we'll find the legendary blade. Then we'll show the Demon King who's really boss. But before I left to go explore the snowy north, I did a bit more on my statue. I felt inspired because I was reminded of Sir Frost. On days 40 to 43, another undead showed up at the base, and I welcomed them into the ranks of the resistance.
Hi, my name is Gabby Ghoul.
Welcome to the team, Gabby.
Thanks. I'm from the Lower East Side of the tomb, and I know there are some really good materials behind a secret door.
That sounds cool. Will you show us where the secret door is?
Sure, since you asked so nicely.
Gabby showed us the secret door in the Lower East tomb, and sure enough, there was gold ore which could be used to craft some very valuable gold items. It was almost too good to be true, but it was true, and there was a warder there to make it a little less good. I did a sonic boom on the dangerous mob and performed a combo with my mace. It took a few more hits than most of the enemies I'd faced, but it went down just like the rest of them. Wow, there's a lot of useful stuff back here. I have some materials to give to the kobold trapsmith. I returned to the kobold and gave him all of the materials I collected. I'm sure he will make great use of them. On days 44 to 49, I traveled across the land until I reached the snowy north. If I were human, I'd probably have to wear a coat. Thank goodness I'm undead. The local mobs were completely different from the ones that I had encountered in the lands that the Demon King had ransacked. But just because they weren't working for the Demon King didn't mean they were friendly. A winged imp monster known as a Vex swooped from out of the sky and tried to take me down. That hurt. I guess it's time to get serious. I swung my mace at the creature, but it was too slow. It flew back up into the sky out of melee range, but that was a mistake on the mob's part because I used my sonic boom to drop it. I decided to travel deeper in and noticed more of these things, and also that they were attacking a poor Arctic fox. I drew my bow and arrow. I had the element of surprise, so I launched arrows into all of them. The Vexes were poisoned and defeated. That's when a fox approached me, looking very relieved.
Whew, that was helpful. Thank you.
That's what I do. I help people.
Are you part of the Ice Knight Order? I've been looking for them.
So have I. I need their help with finding a legendary blade.
The one that can steal the Demon King back? So it does exist. At least my village wasn't attacked for nothing. The Demon King's forces are there right now, looking for it. I need the knights to come and save us.
I guess we've got the same goal. Let's see what we can do together. On days 50 to 53, the fox and I traveled further into the snowing north, trying to avoid the prying eyes of the Vexes.
Maybe if we look around, we'll find someone who can give you a bit more information about the blade of the cleric. There are a lot of people who hate the Demon King, so they'll probably be willing to help out.
But the one person I didn't want to see was the multi-headed giant. He'd finally tracked me down, and he wanted some payback.
Is this a friend of yours, Zozo?
Yeah, something like that. I rushed in and unleashed my sonic boom, but he dodged the sonic boom and charged at me. I guess two heads are finally looking better than one. But I was stronger than I was all those days ago, and I didn't need only my sonic boom to fight my enemies. As the giant got closer, I pulled out my mace and jumped into the air. One strike of my mace to the giant's multiple heads, and he was defeated.
That was amazing. You're a real hero, Zozo.
I'm just a zombie warden doing his best. As Fox and I continued to explore, we found a mutant snow golem camping. Hey, Mr. Snow Golem, I'm Zozo, and I'm looking for the Sword of the Cleric. Do you know where I can find it?
Sorry to burst your bubble, kid, but it doesn't work that way. You don't just find the Sword of the Cleric. Legends say that when you reveal yourself to be worthy, only then will the sword find its way to you.
Oh, so I'm not a real hero yet?
You don't have the sword, so probably not. But you seem like a good kid. Take this protection enchantment. It'll help you on your quest.
Thanks, Mr. Snow Golem. I appreciate it. On days 54 to 57, I made the long and hard journey back across the map, then went underground to my base. I decided to apply the protection enchantment to my chestplate so I'd be able to withstand more powerful attacks easier. Afterwards, I noticed that the kobold installed some traps, a lava chest trap, a diamond door trap, and a pit trap. Hopefully these will never have to come in handy, but good to have them, just in case. Just then, Grimsley approached me with an important task.
Zozo, thank goodness you're here. Gabby Ghoul has gotten sick. I fear that it's some kind of hex caused by the Demon King. I can make a healing potion to help her, but I need you to collect some apples from the Warped Forest. It's a vital ingredient.
Don't worry, Grimsley, I'll be right on it. You stay here and tend to Gabby. I quickly went to the overworld and began exploring the Warped Forest until I happened upon some apples. I collected as many as I could, wanting to make sure there was enough for Gabby's healing potions. I went back to the underground base and gave Grimsley the apples.
This is perfect, Zozo. I have even more than I need. Here, take a few of these spare health potions. You never know when they might come in handy.
On days 58 to 62, I decided to take a load off and work on the statue after a pretty stressful week. Everyone needs a little relaxation time. Can you guess what it is yet? But just as I was about to continue my statue build, I noticed that a gang of demonic reavers working for the Demon King suddenly started attacking my base. Leave it to a guy called the Demon King to never fight fair. But I had an ace in the hole. As the reavers tried to ransack my base, they activated the different traps. A few fell into the lava pit, some more fell for my pit trap, and one of them even fell for my diamond ore trap. And even more were taken out by my sonic booms. I'll take on as many reavers as the Demon King can send at me. But I wasn't prepared for a sneak attack from behind from Grimsley, the Reaper, which knocked me down. Grimsley, how could you? I thought we were friends.
I'm so sorry, Zozo. We are friends, but the Demon King somehow reactivated the Necromancer's control spell. I'm not in control of my own body. He is.
Grimsley, you have to fight it. I promise I'll help free you.
I'm worried you're already too late, Zozo. Just promise me you'll stay safe and don't follow me.
And with that, the mind-controlled Grimsley ran off. On day 63 to day 66, I took one of the healing potions that Grimsley made for me and chased him out of the base. Looks like he's headed for the warped forest. I need to chase him and snap him out of this funk. I followed him until I caught up with him in the darkness of the forest. It was just me and Grimsley facing off.
Zozo, I told you not to follow me. It was a trap from the Demon King all along.
That's when even more Reavers came out of the forest to battle me. It looked like more than I could even take on. Grimsley, I need you to help me.
I can't help you, Zozo. I'm not in control.
You have to fight, Grimsley. You're not just a servant of the Necromancer or the Demon King. You're your own person. I could see that Grimsley was struggling to regain control, and eventually, Grimsley snapped out of it.
You're right, Zozo. I am my own person. Now let's show these Reavers that we mean business.
Grimsley and I fought off the Reavers together. Between the two of us, those servants of evil stood no chance.
Thank you for never giving up on me, Zozo.
I'll never give up on a friend.
And as it turns out, when the Demon King invaded my mind, I also invaded his. I got a vision of a cave deep in the basalt deltas. We might be able to find something useful there.
On days 67 to 70, Grimsley and I decided we'd make our way to the Basalt Deltas cave together and take the fight to the Demon King. Do you think the blade of the cleric is in there, Grimsley?
Only if you're worthy. And look, that might be a good way to prove yourself.
Grimsley was gesturing to a huge, scary Wendigo that was patrolling the outside of the cave. He must have been another demonic servant of the Demon King. I'll go in first. Follow my lead. I ran towards the Wendigo and unleashed a sonic boom. It was more formidable than anything I'd ever faced before. Thankfully, I still had my mace. I pulled it out and hit the Wendigo several times as it roared and shrieked, but the attacks only made it angrier. Then, the Wendigo started fighting back. Every time it hit or bit me, it was knocking off heart after heart. It was terrifying. There was nothing I could do to stop it. I saw my life flashing before my eyes when suddenly Grimsley stormed in to save me.
Leave my friend alone, Wendigo, or you're gonna learn exactly why you should fear the Reaper.
Grimsley attacked. I don't know if he hurt the Wendigo, but he spooked it enough to finally run it off. You really saved me there, Grimsley. Thank you.
Just repaying my debt, Zozo. Now let's take a look inside the cave.
On day 71 to day 74, we entered the cave, hoping to find the blade of the cleric waiting for me. But no, the cave was empty, and I was devastated. I guess I'm still not worthy.
It's okay, Zozo. I'm sure we'll be able to find it. We just need to believe in ourselves.
We better start believing harder, because if we don't, then the Demon King is gonna rise to full power, and without the blade of the cleric, there will be nothing we can do to stop him. On day 75 to day 78, I returned to my base and decided it was time to upgrade my mace since it was about to break. So I did just that and crafted a new mace. Then I decided to supercharge it and applied the sharpness enchantment on it to improve its hitting power. Nobody will want to mess with me now. But that was wrong because the Wendigo who'd gotten away in the Badlands suddenly appeared, and he was here for me. Unlike the Reavers, he wasn't tricked by any of the traps. He had my scent, and he was coming straight for me with his teeth and claws ready. But this time though, I had my upgraded mace, and I was ready to fight back. The Wendigo squared up, and I hit him back. And after that hit, he didn't get back up. Because the Wendigo was so powerful, defeating him gave me a lot of XP, causing me to get bigger, stronger, and finally reach 30 hearts. I was one of the most powerful zombie wardens in the world. I was even starting to look more like an actual warden and became pretty buff. This is my coolest upgrade yet. That's when I had a vision. I needed to return to the snowy north. Something would be waiting for me there. Something I needed if I wanted to defeat the Demon King. So of course, there was no time to waste. On day 79 to day 84, I traveled into the snowy north until I found a fortress that looked like something out of my vision. And as it turned out, it was this fortress that was manned by Sir Frost and his knights, just who I wanted to see. I went to Sir Frost's planning room, where we began to discuss the thing on both of our minds, the Demon King.
I've spent my entire life preparing to confront the Demon King if he ever rose again. And in all that time, all that responsibility, I feel I've learned so little.
All I know is that he'll likely reach his greatest power soon.
Then we should probably stick together. He'll want to get rid of all of us as part of his rise to power, but that'll be harder if we're working with each other. Come back to my base. We'll be safe there, Sir Frost.
You make a good point, Zozo. I'll prepare my things. We'll head off shortly.
On day 85 to day 89, I returned to my base to check on Gabigool, who had started living inside of my statue, and ask her how she was recovering from the hex that the Demon King had put on her.
I'm feeling a lot better now, Zozo. Thank you. And there's something I should tell you. I've been having visions lately. The Demon King. I know he's hiding somewhere with blue trees. Does that mean anything to you?
Blue trees? That has to be the Warped Forest. That's the only place that looks like that. Thank you, Gabby. I know where to find him now. On day 90 to day 94, I went into the mines and managed to get extremely lucky and mine my first set of diamonds. If I'm gonna face the Demon King, I need some extremely tough armor. I forged myself a full set of diamond armor, which would defend me against almost anything. And then I went about enchanting every piece of my armor just so that I would be as prepared as possible. Diamonds are a zombie warden's best friend. On day 95 to day 97, I finished the statue. It was the statue made in tribute to one of the coolest warriors I know, Sir Frost. He'd spent his whole life searching for ways to stop the Demon King, and looking at his statue, I knew I'd be honored to spend my unlife doing the same. The Demon King would fall, and it would be because of me. On day 98, all the preparations had been made. The last thing I was able to do was talk to my friends I'd made who were staying at my base. First, I spoke to Grimsley.
I believe you can do this, Zozo. With or without the blade of the cleric, you're a true hero, and you will defeat this monstrous villain.
Next, I spoke to Gabigool.
You're brave and kind, Zozo, and that will serve you well against the Demon King. Never forget that.
And of course, Sir Frost, the Ice Knight.
Are you sure you want to do this alone, Zozo? I would happily fight by your side, if you so will it.
Thank you, Sir Frost, but you've been fighting this fight a long time. Let me finish it for you. And if you want to help me, the best thing you can do is subscribe to Zozo and ring the bell to always be notified of the next adventure. On day 99, with everything said, I left the underground base and made my way deep into the horrors of the Nether. The first stop was the Crimson Forest, the only way to the Warped Forest Gabby had mentioned, where the Demon King would be waiting. That's when I saw something crawling out of the ground. It was another warden, just like me, except he wasn't zombified.
You worthless traitor! The Necromancer and the Demon King gave you everything, and yet you rebel. You make me sick, you undead freak!
I'd rather be undead and free than alive and taking orders from the Demon King. The enemy warden tried to unleash a sonic boom on me, but I wasn't about to waste time on him when I had the biggest fish to fry. I unleashed my sonic boom, and the enemy warden was completely destroyed.
Traitor!
And with him out of the way, it was time to enter the Warped Forest and finally finish this thing. On day 100, I entered the Warped Forest and prepared myself for the fight of my own life. It wouldn't be easy. First, I had to deal with the Enderman. They kept teleporting around me, and it took both my mace and my Mega Sonic Boom to take care of them. It doesn't matter how much you delay, I'm gonna take on your boss soon enough. I thought I'd need to keep searching for the Demon King, but instead, the Demon King came for me. He floated down towards me, ready to fight.
You again? That little failed experiment that killed the Necromancer. Are you truly foolish enough to think you can best me, the Demon King?
And with that, he began to grow, becoming a far bigger and more powerful version of himself than I'd ever seen. He had finally reached his full power. Even if I can't beat you, I'm still going to fight you, because what kind of person would I be if I didn't?
A living one.
The Demon King pulled out a powerful bow and started shooting me with it. I tried to dodge, but was quickly overwhelmed due to the sheer power of it.
Weak! How disappointing! Destroying you will be an act of mercy!
Just as I thought I'd be doomed, I noticed something had been added to my inventory. It was the blade of the cleric. My act of bravery had finally earned it. As soon as I equipped the blade, I saw myself growing, getting more powerful. I was bigger, stronger, and even had a mighty 50 hearts. There would be no stopping me now! Okay, Demon King, are you ready for a real fight? With the blade of the cleric, I attacked the Demon King, striking him again and again. forcing him further back into the warped forest, weakening him, breaking him down. I could tell he was afraid.
Zozo, wait! Clearly you're strong. How about we join forces? Imagine the power we could have together!
Nice offer, but I think I'll stick with my friends, Demon King. With one last blast of my sonic boom, the Demon King was destroyed, and the world was saved! After that, I went back to the base happy to finally relax. On day 1, I spawned into the jungle as Ant-Man, everyone's favorite size-shifting superhero. Whoa, this is awesome! I've always wanted to be able to shrink down really tiny. Hold on a minute, why is my suit not working? Darn it, I must be out of PIM particles. I wasn't sure how I managed to get here or where here even was. Everything around me looked like it was normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Why isn't my shrinking tech working? Maybe there's something I can do to fix it. Just then, I heard the crawling of a lot of legs and turned around to see a spider. It was huge, way bigger than any I had ever seen before. Something weird was definitely going on here. Whoa, aren't you a little big? Then there came the horrible noise of something whirring loudly, and it was coming closer and closer. I could see a huge, vicious-looking creature coming straight towards me. It looked like a huge head with much smaller arms.
Well, isn't that the question of the day? Are you sure it's not you who's a little smaller than normal?
Huh, that is a good question. I suppose I don't feel any smaller than I normally do, but then, if I was, how would I know?
Why don't I save you the trouble then? You are indeed much smaller than normal, and it was by my hand that you were shrunk down to a more manageable size.
Hey, that hardly seems fair. You can't just go around shrinking people. Who the heck are you anyway?
I am MODOK. Cower before me, Zozo, for you're trapped here in my miniverse.
Miniverse? Oh no, like a tiny universe?
Precisely. Here, I'm in charge. Nothing is its normal size, and now you're trapped here. But let's give you a challenge, shall we? If you can make it out of the miniverse within 100 days, I'll let you go free. But if not, then you'll be trapped in my tiny world forever. And you think getting out will be easy? Think again!
Suddenly, MODOK unleashed a blast of energy that burned the huge spider to a crisp. I had to get to cover so I didn't get blasted too, but it was too late for the poor spider. Yeesh, talk about having a big head. On day 2, I tried to find my way out of this crazy jungle I was in. The trees were so dense that I could hardly see a clear path in front of me. On top of that, I realized I only had 5 hearts, so I had to be careful. If I ran into MODOK again, or any other dangers in his miniverse, then I'd be in serious trouble. Just then, I overheard a loud, angry buzzing sound. When I followed it, I stumbled across a group of enormous tarantula hawks. They were way bigger than normal insects, just like the spider had been. Oh man, these are some nasty-looking bugs. Maybe I can communicate with them.
Well, look what's buzzing, my bug bros. A lost little superhero with no powers. This is the one Master MODOK trapped here. Come on, let's get him. Destroying him will win us a lot of points with our master.
They attacked me. I quickly noticed I had a bow in my inventory and used it to try and fend them off. But at my size, I wasn't able to do much damage at all. Plus, I was outnumbered. No, I can't die. Not yet. I still have to find my way out of this miniverse. But then, right as I needed help, someone came rushing out of the trees and fended off the tarantula hawks. It looked like it had the body of a bee, but with huge arms and legs like a person. What the heck was going on in this place?
Hey, are you all right? You should really be careful out here.
Thanks for saving me. What's your name?
You can call me Harlow, the honey golem. What's yours?
Well, technically, I'm meant to be Ant-Man, but I don't have any powers, so I guess I'm just Zozo. On day 3, Harlow brought me to his hive, where there were even more honey golems just like him. They were living in a cave and had built themselves an entire community underground. Wow, I've never met any honey golems before.
We were created in one of MODOK's experiments. That big head of his houses a pretty big brain. He's been using this miniverse to perform all kinds of crazy experiments on the innocent insects and creatures here. We started out like normal bumblebees, but now we're monsters.
Hey, I don't think you're monsters. You saved me from those mean tarantula hawks. Harlow explained that MODOK had been causing havoc all over the miniverse with his mad scientist experiments. I told him that I needed to find my way out of there before my 100 days were over.
You need to get out of here, I understand. But you're going to need some help if you have any chance of escaping the miniverse. So how about I tag along to assist you?
Wow, thank you so much, Harlow. But wait, how are you gonna help me get out of here?
Well, let me cut you a deal. You want to be freed from the miniverse, and I want the miniverse to be free from MODOK. So, how about we team up? I'll come with you. It can be dangerous, but I know my way around, so I can navigate and provide protection. And in return, you can build up your strength so we can stop MODOK's schemes. Once that's done, I'm sure we'll find a way to get you out of here. What do you say?
Okay, sure. If we can take down that big-headed bad guy and get me out of here, then that would be amazing.
Then we better get to it. MODOK is ruthless, and he's left plenty of his experiments running wild out there. They'll do anything he wants.
So Harlow and I headed out as a team. On days 4 through 5, we made a start on gathering some resources and building up my strength for the fight ahead. I punched some trees and gathered enough wood to make a crafting bench. Afterwards, I made myself a set of wooden tools. Then, Harlow showed me a cave where I could mine for cobblestone, and then I used that to craft a set of stone tools as quickly as possible. Harlow and I then explored a bit and eventually found a spot where we could build our base on. We were pretty far from the Honey Golem's underground city, so I built a room for both Harlow and I to stay in using the materials I had been gathering. It's not exactly the Avengers Tower or the Baxter Building, but it's a start at least. Hopefully, we won't have any trouble from MODOK and his experiments bothering us while we're here. Just as I had finished up, Harlow brought some food that he'd managed to find for us. He wasn't kidding. He really knew his way around the miniverse. I ate some, and when I did, I quickly gained 10 hearts for a total of 15 hearts.
Look at that! You've got a little bigger too.
At this rate, I'll be tough enough to take on MODOK in no time.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet, but I'm sure you'll get your chance soon.
With our new base already, night was beginning to fall, so Harlow and I settled in for some much-needed sleep. On days 6 through 8, Harlow and I went exploring, searching for some more materials to craft new items and maybe even upgrade our base. Harlow led the way as we headed back towards the jungle area, being careful we didn't run into any more of those awful tarantula hawks, or something even worse. Soon, we found a jungle spider who was being terrorized by creepers. At first, we thought they were just normal creepers, but there was something wrong about them. They had longer, freakier legs. They were mutants, made during one of MODOK's mad experiments. Hey, leave that spider alone! They didn't listen, so I started firing arrows at them using my bow. I scored a few direct hits, and it angered the mutant creepers. Luckily for me though, Harlow had my back, so as they came charging at us, we were ready for a battle. Even with my weapons and Harlow's strength combined, our fight with the mutant creepers was still a tough one. They were much stronger than your average creepers. But with a few well-placed shots, and with Harlow's strength, we were eventually able to overpower them before they managed to explode. We went to check that the spider was okay.
Thank you both for your help. My name is Jupe, the jungle spider.
Whoa, spiders can talk here.
What do you mean?
Harlow, you mean you can't hear Jupe? Oh, of course, my Ant-Man helmet. It must be allowing me to talk with bugs.
I hate to ask, but there's another of MODOK's experiments nearby. I'm far too weak to fight it, but maybe you could beat the beastly thing?
Leave it to me.
Zozo, you guys go on ahead. I'm going to go back to the base to collect some more supplies.
On days 9 to 10, I followed Jupe back to where she had last seen the mad MODOK's evil experiment. After a fair bit of searching, we found ourselves at what was left of Jupe's spider nest, with a massive mutant earth elemental roaming nearby.
That's the monster. It destroyed my home.
Jupe was understandably upset, but unfortunately had caught the elemental's attention by accident. The creature spotted us almost immediately and instantly started making its way towards us, ready to attack. Oh no, I really wish we hadn't left Harlow back at the base. While Jupe scurried off to hide, I pulled out my sword and took a swing at the earth elemental. I could barely leave as much as a scratch. It was way too powerful, and I was still too weak to fight it. Before I could get overwhelmed, I ran as fast as I could, only stopping when I met up with Jupe. We'll have to come back when I'm stronger. Maybe if I can fix the suit, I can grow to a giant size and stomp him.
I'm sure you will. But in the meantime, what should I do? I have nowhere to go now that this monster has ruined my home.
Well, for the time being, you're welcome to stay at my base with me and Harlow. On days 11 to 12, I made my way back to my base with Jupe beside me. I quickly built her a room where she could spin some new webs to make herself nice and comfy.
Thank you for coming to help me and for taking me in, Ant-Man. Most people would see a spider my size and be terrified.
That's okay. I'm glad I can understand you through this helmet. How did you get to that size? Did it have anything to do with MODOK?
Oh, MODOK, that horrible madman. He's been toying with everything here in this miniverse. He alters sizes, creates new creatures whenever he feels like it, then abandons them if they won't fight for him. We'll never be at peace until someone puts an end to his schemes.
Sounds like a job for me. After I had talked with Jupe, I went out and mined for some more materials. I hadn't had a chance to gather anything since fighting the elemental. I managed to come across iron and coal, so I made a furnace to smelt the iron and crafted some iron tools and boots. After all that work, nighttime was approaching, so I had to move quickly if I wanted to take advantage of the last moments of daylight. Walking a short way from my base, I found gravel and began to dig for flint, then kept that in my inventory. On days 13 to 15, I was feeling eager to get stronger and to see if I could get my powers back, so I spoke to Harlow for his advice.
Well, I only became this strong because of MODOK's experiments. But you should probably try training. I hear that's what a lot of superheroes do. Practice does make perfect after all.
I guess that's worth a shot. I then went out in search of some of MODOK's lower-level cronies to fight. After a bit of traveling, I ended up finding myself in a forest. There were strange creatures flying about in the air, and they were a lot smaller than most other mobs I had seen. But what these dark leeches lacked in size, they made up for in numbers. Okay then, let's take you on. I launched into an attack, wielding an iron sword I had crafted. The dark leeches swarmed me, but I knew that the best way to attack them was up close. They were too small for me to pick off from a distance with my bow and arrows. They were fast, but each one could be slashed down with ease. I just had to be careful not to get bitten by any of them. After a lot of swinging my sword about, I managed to defeat the swarm of dark leeches and come away victorious. The dead leeches dropped some healing potions. Whoa, now this should definitely come in handy. I used the healing potions, and to my surprise, it caused me to gain a few more hearts. Well, I guess that just happened. On days 16 to 19, after beating those dark leeches, I decided to go off exploring a bit more to keep building my strength up. During my travels, I stumbled upon a village, but when I went to take a closer look, there was nobody around to be seen. I searched all the buildings. However, none of the villagers were in their homes. I wonder what happened here. Where did everybody go?
You should not have come here.
Ah, you scared me. It was the ghost of an ordinary villager. No wonder I couldn't find anyone here. Something bad must have happened to them.
It is not safe here. You must leave while you still can.
What do you mean? What happened to you?
We were living peacefully here until MODOK came into this miniverse. He took the people of this village to use in his experiments.
He's a monster!
In his madness, he tried to create a creature that was powered by anger that would get stronger the more enraged it became. But the experiment went wrong, and the creature ransacked our town. This is why you must leave. It's still here.
Wait, a creature powered by anger? That sounds a lot like the Hulk. Suddenly, a villager beast came bursting through the roof to ambush me. The ghost vanished in fear while I rushed outside and took out my weapons, ready for a fight. The beast wasn't as strong as I was expecting, but we were still pretty evenly matched. It was looking like I might need to run away again. That is, until the ghost appeared again and helped distract the beast.
Quick, while his back is turned.
Zozo smash! With a big swing of my sword, I put an end to the villager beast, and the battle was done! Whew, thanks for the help! On days 20 through 22, I was heading back to my base. On the way, I kept my superhero training going by fighting a few zombies that I came across. I took them out with ease like they were nothing. Harlow was right. Practice does make perfect, and I'm definitely improving. As I got closer to the base, I gathered some extra iron, which I held onto. I'd be able to improve my gear with it once I made it home. I finally arrived and smelted the ore I found into ingots. I then crafted some iron armor and an iron shield to defend myself in future battles, alongside with a new sword since mine was about to break. Well, if a shield works for Captain America, then it'll work for me. Starting to feel a lot more confident with my superhero skills, as well as my newly crafted tools and weapons, I decided to pay a visit to an old enemy. Jupe, I'm gonna go and teach that Earth Elemental a thing or two about what happens when you mess with innocent spiders' nests. I made my way back to the ruins of Jupe's old nest, and that's where I found the Elemental waiting for me. It immediately charged directly at me, swinging his huge rocky fist as he tried to hit me. I blocked with my new shield, but his attack stunned me, making it difficult to keep my health up or move out of the way. Luckily, Harlow had given me plenty of food to bring with me, and my armor protected me from each of the elemental's blows too. He continued to swing at me, but I had already taken down the villager beast. This was just another of MODOK's experiments. Waiting for the perfect opportunity, I landed the perfect hit and managed to defeat the Earth Elemental, causing him to burst into rocky smithereens. Woohoo! Among the stone remains of the Elemental was a note, so I picked it up to take a closer look. It was an order from MODOK.
Don't let that no-good hero find where we've stashed the PIM particles. If he finds out where they are, he'll be able to use them to power his suit. We can't have him shrinking down to sneak out of the miniverse or growing bigger than a house. He'd wipe us all out in no time. Whatever happens, stall him. Keep him away from the particles.
Of course, MODOK's the reason why I can't get my Ant-Man suit to work. I can keep getting stronger, but without PIM particles, I can't use my powers. So I guess the question is, where do I start looking? From day 23 to day 26, I returned back to my base to give Jupe the jungle spider the good news. Jupe, I did it! I defeated the elemental that had ruined your home. You can go back anytime you like now, though of course, you're always welcome to stay here too.
That's so wonderful to hear, Zozo. I think I'll stay to help you until MODOK is defeated. Then I'll return to my true home. All thanks to you.
Feeling good after helping Jupe, I made myself a flint and steel. This will be perfect for making campfires. After that, I spent some time building a strong perimeter wall around my base. That'd help keep out the mobs at night. From day 27 to day 31, I decided to venture out into the desert to continue my search for the PIM particles. Without them, I'd never have any hope of defeating MODOK. While out in the desert, I ran into a Pterodon. Hey, sorry to bother you, but would you happen to know where I could find some PIM particles around here?
PIM particles, I can't tell you exactly where to find them, but I have some theories. I'm actually an advanced particle scientist, and I wrote my thesis on PIM particles.
Oh wow, that actually sounds like super valuable knowledge. Want to come stay at my base and work on this together? I'm Zozo, by the way.
I'm Frank, and sure, I'll take you up on that offer.
As Frank headed back, I decided to mine some sandblocks that I could take back to base. When I arrived again, I turned the sandblocks into grass blocks and used them to create windows in my base. That should get a little light on the situation, but I didn't get to enjoy my new windows for long. Harlow the honey golem ran towards me, looking panicked.
Zozo, I need your help. I just got word there's been an attack on my underground community.
What? We better go immediately. From day 32 to day 35, Harlow and I ran straight to the caves that protected the underground community of honey golems. The cave was crawling with giant, vicious centipedes, a type of aggressive mutant centipede created in MODOK's evil laboratory. Don't worry, everyone, we're here to help. Keep away from the centipedes. But we had arrived a little too late. There were so many centipedes, and even though we tried our best to fight them all off, sadly we spotted no honey golems inside. Hopefully some escaped. Harlow and I worked together to defeat the rest of the centipedes, but the damage was already done. I'm so sorry, Harlow. I wish we could have done more.
We must defeat MODOK, Zozo. We can't let him get away with this.
From day 36 to day 39, I needed to get away from my base. After the incident in the caves, I had trouble even looking Harlow in the eye. Instead, I went out to the swamp, seeing if I could find any interesting materials out there. While searching, I met a joust who needed a favor.
Hey, stranger. Jerry's the name. Being a joust is my game. Now, I don't want to impose, but my little swamp shack is surrounded by crocodiles. If you were to help scare those chompy critters away, I'd give you something in return.
There is something I need. Do you happen to know anything about MODOK?
MODOK? Oh, me and that guy go way back. We went to Miniverse College together. He's always been a huge meanie. If you scare off those crocodiles, I'll tell you what I know.
Deal. I went further into the swamp until I found Jerry the Joust's shack, which was surrounded by vicious crocodiles. I pulled out my sword and ran in, swinging and flailing. Get out of here, crockies! Go on, get! Once the crocodiles had been defeated, I returned to Jerry the Joust and asked him what he knew about MODOK.
He acts like he's confident, but believe me, the guy's real insecure. He's only as strong as the monsters working with him. If you're able to become strong enough and get him alone, that's your best chance at defeating him.
From day 40 to day 43, I decided I'd spend some more time sprucing up the base. Seeing as I was spending so much time there, I should at least make it look nice. I spent most of my time working in the yard. I put in some nice trees and flowers that really livened up the whole base. Who'd have thought I'd have such a green thumb? After that, Harlow approached me and told me that there were a lot of honey golems who needed a place to stay after the centipedes destroyed the underground town. Of course, I invited them all to come stay with us and even built some extra rooms onto the base so they'd all have a place to stay. That's when Frank the Pterodon came to me with some exciting news.
Zozo, I've been doing some research, and I got a lead on some potential PIM particles out in the Badlands.
That's awesome! To the Badlands I go! From day 44 to day 49, I went out to the Badlands in search of the PIM particles that could give me my powers back. Instead, I found MODOK and one of the freakiest looking minions in his roster, the floating, bug-eyed Beholder!
Looking for PIM particles, Zozo?
As a matter of fact, I am. So if you'd kindly step out of my way, I'm gonna keep searching.
Oh, I'll save you the job. I have them.
What?
I already took the particles, and I'm going to use them in my experiments. They'll give me the power to create even larger, more dangerous monsters. And monsters so tiny, you won't even see them until they get you. The Miniverse will be my personal playground, and then I'll fan out and take over the entire multiverse.
I'll never let you get away with it.
That isn't up to you, Zozo. Beholder, destroy him. I'm going back to the lab.
MODOK flew away, leaving only me and the Beholder. I pulled out my sword and tried to hide my fear as the terrifying monster flew towards me. Maybe we can just talk it out? From day 50 to day 53, I started fighting the Beholder because, as it turns out, he did not want to just talk it out. He was fast and strong, but thankfully I was able to use all the skills I learned so far to gain an advantage. I lost a few hearts along the way, but the Beholder was eventually defeated. Jeez, I hope I never have to see another one of those again. While I was still resting after the fight, I noticed that the fallen Beholder had dropped something. A notebook marked Book of Research, written by MODOK. That's perfect. Maybe it can give me some inside information. The inside of the book read,
Without the PIM particles, my research is coming up short. But soon I'll be able to take it all to the next level. When I have the particles, the first thing I'll do is take the smallest threat and make it into the biggest one. Then unleash it on those hapless fools in the mountains.
The mountains? That's where my base is. I need to get back there immediately. From day 54 to day 57, I ran back to the mountain as fast as I could, ready to head off whatever monster that MODOK had unleashed. And the last thing I could have expected was a giant enterophage rampaging through the mountains. Its size must have been massively enhanced by PIM particles. I don't even want to know what kind of ender flu that monster would give you. I tried to attack its legs, but that didn't seem to have any effect. Its head was its only weakness, but I didn't know how to get at it. And what's more, from the direction it was heading, it was going straight towards my base. Think, Zozo, think! Wait, I have an idea! I ran ahead of the giant enterophage's path and started desperately digging a pit into the ground. As the giant enterophage approached, it fell into the pit, putting its head at eye level with me. Time to cure this walking virus. With one strike of my sword, the giant enterophage was defeated, and it dropped some PIM particles into the pit. At long last, they were mine. I collected the particles and went straight back to my base, where I figured Frank the Pterodon would know what to do with them.
You found the PIM particles. This is amazing.
So can I use them to change my size?
No, not yet. Leave them with me, Zozo. I'll refine them and get them ready for use. You'll be ready to take the fight to MODOK in no time.
From day 58 to day 62, I decided that it was time to refine my base and gear a little more and put all my new scientific skills to good use. I started by making Frank a scientific lab so he could help me more efficiently. After that, I did improvements to my room, adding more chests and forges and making it feel more fit for me. It's like having my own little laboratory. Hank Pym would be so proud. Then, I made my way to a nearby diamond mine and took all the diamonds I collected back to the crafting room so I could upgrade my gear. I made a full set of diamond armor to help protect the fragile technology of my suit and a diamond sword to help me pack a punch. But even though my equipment had never been cooler, my base was looking a little gloomy. To spruce it up, I added some new couches so me and the boys could relax. This has got to be the coolest base in the miniverse now. From day 63 to day 66, Harlow the honey golem approached me at the base with a cool idea.
Zozo, I think it's important to get as many allies as we can when fighting MODOK. We have no idea how many mutants and monsters he's created out there, so we need to get a team of our own.
That's a really good point, Harlow. Where do you think would be a good place to look for more allies?
Try the forest. I bet MODOK's goons have hassled a lot of creatures up there. They'll probably be eager to sign up.
Harlow was right. I needed to leave the base and venture over to the forest where I could find new potential team members for our anti-MODOK movement. But the forest was way bigger than I thought, so I was searching for a whole day without finding anything. I hope this whole thing wasn't a waste of time. I can't afford to waste any of my 100 days to get out of the miniverse. My thoughts were interrupted by a huge figure running through the forest towards me, a Polypham. I pulled out my sword in a panic and prepared for a fight, but the Polypham stopped. He wasn't here to fight me.
Please, kind stranger, my name is Peter, and I was playing with my son out in the forest when suddenly a monster attacked and took him. I need help to save my son. Will you help me?
Of course I'll help you, Peter. I'm Zozo. You lead the way. From day 67 to day 70, I followed Peter Polypham deep into the dark forest. It didn't take long for us to find exactly what we were looking for. Peter's son, a baby Polypham, being chased around the forest by a scary, buzzing, warped Mosco. That looks exactly like one of MODOK's experiments.
MODOK?
He's the supervillain that made all the mutant creatures around here. Stand back, Peter. I'll take care of this one. I pulled out my sword and ran in, getting the warped Mosco's attention and distracting him from attacking Peter's son. The nasty mutant attacked me and we started to fight. Didn't anyone ever teach you not to pick on kids, Mosco? Every time he hit me with his powerful Mosco arms, I could feel my health going down, but I needed to keep fighting for Peter and his son's sake. It was a hard battle, but in the end, the warped Mosco was defeated and father and son were together again.
You did me and my son a great service, Zozo. One day, in your hour of need, I will repay you for this.
No problem, man. It's just what heroes do. From day 71 to day 74, still feeling good about helping Peter and his son, I continued my search through the forest. I really do love going on adventures, and if you love going on adventures, like, subscribe, and search ZOZO for more videos from me. Ooh, is that an abandoned mine? I approached an abandoned mine deep in the forest. I didn't expect to make any friends down there, but I figured I would at least be able to mine for some useful materials. I'm always making the best out of a weird situation. But in that abandoned mine, I didn't find any decent materials. I found MODOK himself, waiting for me.
You've fallen into my trap, you pathetic, teeny tiny Ant-Man. The only thing tinier than you is your brain.
Well, my brain would have to be tinier than me, or it wouldn't fit in my body.
Silence, fool!
MODOK was angry that I made him look dumb, so he fired an energy blast at me. He missed, and I ran back at him with my diamond sword. But when I hit him, nothing happened. What?
Force field technology, son. It protects me in response to trauma. You'd need to be a lot bigger and stronger than that to even put a scratch on me.
And with that, MODOK laughed and teleported away. I still wasn't nearly big or strong enough to defeat him. From day 75 to day 78, I returned to my base, feeling glum after not being able to defeat MODOK yet again. Maybe if I make some defenses, that'll make me feel better. I decided to create a few guardhouses so that I would feel more at ease, and my friends would be able to seek refuge on whatever side of the base they happened to be at. Building is so cool. As if on cue, Frank the Pterodon approached me.
I agree, Zozo, and it's thanks to some good, old-fashioned science that I've finally been able to refine these PIM particles and upgrade your suit so that it can do what it always should have done.
You mean I'll be able to change size now? I won't just be a mini Ant-Man?
Exactly, Zozo. Give it a whirl.
I activated my refined PIM particles and felt myself growing to my proper height, at long last, complete with double the hearts. It feels good to be back, Frank. From day 79 to day 84, seeing as I was back to my full strength, I wanted to go and settle some old scores. First, I went deep into the jungle and encountered some old enemies, some of the tarantula hawks that were bothering me and my friends when I was tiny.
Hey, look, it's the Pipsqueak. Oh, wait, he doesn't seem like such a Pipsqueak anymore.
Thank you for noticing. I fought the tarantula hawks who had once been such a challenge with my new strength and my diamond sword. Within a few minutes, they were all defeated. I went on the rest of my journey with my head still high. On my travels, I ran into a mad scientist doing some research deep in the jungle.
Hello there, I'm Mike, the local mad scientist. I'm conducting a wildlife survey. What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm Zozo. Nice to meet you, Mike. I've just been testing out my new PIM particles. They help me change my size at will. I can get bigger or smaller.
That sounds fascinating. Would you mind telling me more about this for my research?
Not at all. I spoke to Mike the mad scientist for a while, explaining to him exactly how the particles worked and how my suit used them. All the while, he looked super interested and made notes. In the end, he was so thankful, he gave me an enchantment he'd crafted that would increase the damage of my sword. My luck looked like it was finally turning around. From day 85 to day 89, my luck turned around again, for the worst. I returned to my base, only to find it being attacked by a gang of water elementals working for MODOK. I just can't catch a break around here. I pulled out my diamond sword and ran into fight. I didn't want to use the full power of my PIM particles just yet, because I knew I'd need them to take on MODOK himself. So I fought the water elementals the old-fashioned way. And I'm gonna make you regret trying to destroy my base. I defeated most of them, but a bunch of water elementals started to make a run for it, and I chased after them. I didn't want any of them to get away after this. But while I was running, I saw a distressed-looking Catoblopas standing in the distance, trying to get my attention.
Stranger, please! I need your help! My friend, little Kato, is stuck in that really tall tree. I'm worried he's gonna fall and hurt himself.
Don't worry, I can help. I used my PIM particles to get a lot bigger. Due to my size, the little Kato was confident enough to jump towards me and landed safely.
Thank you, Zozo.
No problem. And with that, I continued the chase. From day 90 to day 94, I chased the gang of water elementals until they were forced to stop at a ravine. Nowhere to run, guys. Now we have to fight, and I think I'm owed a little payback. Without a second's hesitation, I started fighting the water elementals. One by one, I defeated them until only one remained. He was unusually good at taking my hits, even with a diamond sword. I don't understand. How are you so tough? Before he even replied, he punched me so hard, I lost some of my hearts.
Naive little Ant-Man. I'm not just any water elemental. I'm one of MODOK's greatest experiments. The angrier I get, the stronger and faster I become. And believe me, you got me pretty angry, Ant-Boy.
And just like that, I knew I was in for the biggest fight of my life so far. From day 95 to day 97, my battle with the water elementals continued. He was the strongest and fastest enemy I'd ever faced, and as he got angrier, his skills increased.
Face it, Zozo, you're outmatched. I'm going to crush you like an ant.
I clearly couldn't defeat him like this. I needed a new strategy, but how could I defeat someone who got tougher as they got angrier? Wait, I have it! I needed to calm down. That way, he'd be weak enough to lose. I just needed to calm him down. Water elemental, imagine rainbows and puppies.
I don't know what you're trying to do, Ant-Boy, but it won't work.
Think about calming waterfalls and the smell of fresh-cut grass. Think about relaxing at the end of the day and watching your favorite TV show.
No, how dare you? You can't do this to me. I'm getting calmer.
Think about getting to sleep in late on a Saturday. Think about getting a massage and drinking some herbal tea. Think about meditating in the middle of a meadow filled with dandelions.
Blast it! I've never felt so calm.
I finally used my PIM particles in combat, becoming tiny and attacking the water elemental with great speed, making me even stronger. It only took one hit like that, and the water elemental was pushed into a corner. He dropped something. It looked like a map. Wait, is this a map directly to MODOK's secret laboratory? Why would you even have this on you? You work for the guy.
I have a terrible sense of direction, okay? But it doesn't matter. You may have defeated me, but you'll never defeat MODOK. He's got the biggest brain in the miniverse.
Yeah, and the smallest heart. I'm gonna defeat MODOK if it's the last thing I do. And with that, the water elemental vanished. On day 98, after defeating all the water elementals and finding out the location of MODOK's secret laboratory, I returned to my base to speak with my friends, Harlow the honey golem, Jupe the jungle spider, and Frank the Pterodon. Friends, it's time! I need to defeat MODOK once and for all! I want to thank you for all the help you've given me, but even if I win, this might be goodbye, because I'll need to leave the miniverse. Harlow spoke up first.
Zozo, you've helped me through some tough times. When my people's homes were destroyed by MODOK, you were there for me. So after you've taken him down, I wish you luck in whatever comes next.
Then, Jupe the jungle spider.
You're one of the most heroic people I've ever met, Zozo. You may be an Ant-Man, but you've got the heart of a jungle spider, and I mean that as the highest compliment I can give.
And of course, Frank the Pterodon.
You're not just a hero, Zozo, but a brilliant scientist. I believe you've gained all the knowledge and skills you need to defeat that big-headed monster. All you need to do now is believe in yourself.
On day 99, with everything prepared, I decided to make my way to MODOK's evil laboratory so I could stop the dastardly villain and escape the miniverse once and for all. Using my refined PIM particles in my fully upgraded suit, I decided to make myself incredibly tiny so none of MODOK's guards would spot me. On the way there, I ran into a cockroach who was about the same size as me in my shrunken form. Hey, Mr. Cockroach, hope you're having a good day. I'm on my way to defeat a supervillain.
The name's Carl, my friend, and I wish you luck in your quest. Defeating a supervillain sounds like a pretty cool thing for you to do.
I continued on my quest until I reached the laboratory, but as could probably be expected, it was surrounded by sentinels, powerful mutant zombies created by MODOK's evil experiments. Maybe they won't see me if I'm tiny, but what if they do? I don't know if I could take them all on at once. Then I heard big, thundering footsteps coming towards me, and I turned to see Peter Polyphan.
Maybe I can be of service.
Peter, have you come to help me?
Sure have, Zozo. You helped me save my kid, so now I'm gonna help you stop your supervillain. I'll distract those doofy mutant zombies. You head in there, and you bring the big boss down.
You got it, Peter. Let's end this thing. On day 100, I ran past the gang of mutant zombies while Peter Polyphan distracted them and entered MODOK's evil laboratory. The big-headed bad guy himself was waiting for me as soon as I came in. It's over, MODOK. I know your plans, but they won't do you any good now. I have the PIM particles and my suit is fully operational. If I was you, I'd just give up.
But you're not me, Zozo. I'm a genius, a visionary scientist. You're just a goofball who likes to dress up like a bug. If you were truly smart, you'd be able to see the value in what I'm doing here.
All I see is an evil guy who's hurting people to benefit himself. And if you can't see that, then I guess we better just get this over with. I prepared to size shift into an even tinier version of myself when MODOK blasted me with some kind of shockwave that blocked my powers.
Too bad, so sad. Mutated zombies, take care of him.
A bunch of MODOK's mutated zombies came running out to attack me. Of course, a coward like him wouldn't want to fight for himself. I'm ready. I'll take you all on. I pulled out my diamond sword and attacked before they attacked me. Thanks to my upgraded suit and diamond armor, it's not like they could do much damage to me anyway. Soon enough, every single one of them was defeated. It was just me and MODOK.
You still can't defeat me. Do you really think you have any hope at defeating my power and my genius, you puny little Ant-Man?
Puny? Is that what you're calling me? I activated my PIM particles and started to grow. It didn't take long for me to tower over MODOK with my new giant size. How about now, MODOK?
Oh no!
With one more strike from my giant size, MODOK was defeated. Finally, after 100 days of struggle, I could leave the miniverse. On day 1, I spawned in as APHMAU, ready to begin my latest Minecraft adventure. And wow, look, I've got 5 hearts. It must be because APHMAU is so good at making friends. But wait, there was nobody else around me in the forest. That didn't seem right. APHMAU always has her friends, especially her best friend, Ian. I started looking around to see if I could find him. Ian? Can you hear me? Ian! I don't like hanging out in this creepy forest alone. But I wasn't alone. Suddenly, a huge humbaba came running out of the trees towards me.
Are you calling for Ian? Oh, that annoying little brat has given me enough trouble already. If you're a friend of his, I'm gonna need to kidnap you too.
So that's what happened to Ian. He always knew how to make a bad first impression. I turned and ran away from the forest. There was no way I could fight that big humbaba unarmed.
Get back here, you little twerp. There will be no escape once I reach my full power.
That didn't sound good. I kept running until I couldn't see the humbaba anymore and stopped to catch my breath after the chase. So he kidnapped Ian. I need to get him back. I really don't like that thing the humbaba said about reaching his full power. But I didn't have time to think about it. Suddenly, Endermen were coming out of the trees all around me, grasping for me with their long, spooky arms. Uh-oh, gotta go. I ran off again until there were no Endermen to be seen. I hid underneath a big tree to get some sleep in secret. It's harder to make friends in this world than I thought. On day 2, I woke up with a sore back. Sleeping on the ground under a tree isn't that comfortable. I needed to make myself a base. But first, I needed to get myself some materials. I started breaking down a tree with my bare hands to get the material for a crafting table. Ow! My hands are gonna be sore after that one. I built a crafting table and used that to craft my first set of tools. A wooden pickaxe, a wooden axe, and of course, a wooden sword. Now it's base building time. But there wasn't much space in the forest, so I headed out into the plains to start building my base on a wide, even plain. I admired the plains from my new balcony. Nothing can sneak up on me here. That's when I saw a bunch of freaky little creatures crawling towards my base. Are those enteriophages? That doesn't make sense. What are they doing outside of the end? Either way, I needed to get them out of here to finish building my base. I went outside, pulled out my sword, and started attacking them, being careful not to let them attack me. If an enteriophage attacks you, you get ender flu, and nobody wants that. Get out of here, you nasty little viruses! I kept attacking them until there were no more left. And stay out. I went back in to continue working on my base. The first room I finished was my sleeping quarters, complete with a nice, comfy bed. This sure beats sleeping under a tree. On day 3, I woke up feeling well rested and decided to continue expanding my base. I left the plains and walked back into the forest to gather more material with my new tools. After all, I needed to build a room for Ian after I rescue him from the humbaba. On the way through the forest, I discovered an opening into a cave and decided to explore. Who knows what treasures I might find in there? But as I got deeper and deeper into that cold, dark cave, I realized treasure wasn't the only thing inside. Suddenly, an armed Mimikyu snuck up behind me. Before I could even react, it hit me with its mimic sword, taking out a good chunk of my health. Get away from me, you lousy slime! I'm just trying to gather some supplies. But it didn't listen. It just kept attacking me. My sword was like a toy against it. Whatever adventurer it copied a shield from was too strong. For a minute there, I thought I was a goner. Until a friendly Chocobo came running out of the cave towards me.
Hop on my back, kid. It isn't safe in here.
Thanks, that's an offer I can't refuse. I jumped onto the Chocobo's back and rode her out of the cave, leaving the Mimikyu behind us in the dark. We ran until we reached my base, where I finally dismounted off of the Chocobo. Thanks for the save, Chocobo. I'm Zozo. What's your name?
I'm Coco. Huh, guess our names are kind of similar.
You did a great job saving us from that Mimikyu. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have survived without you.
The Mimikyu are just the beginning of it. Haven't you noticed all of the ender creatures that have been bothering everyone around here? It's all Estragon the Humbaba's fault.
Wait, the Humbaba? I think we should stick together. That's the guy who kidnapped my friend. On days 4 to 5, I invited Coco the Chocobo into my base. Be it ever so humble, there's no place like home.
Nice place. Where will I sleep?
That's when I realized he wouldn't really fit through the door. Well, where do you want to sleep?
Personally, I've always felt a little safer underground. Is that doable?
You betcha, Coco. I mined a space underground in my little base and built Coco a cozy underground room to sleep in. By the time we were done, it was nighttime and we were exhausted. It feels so nice to have a friend staying at my base with me too. But we didn't get to cool off for long. We heard the sound of zombies moaning outside.
Jeez, we can't catch a break, can we?
You hang back this time, Coco. You've already saved my bum once today. Now it's my turn to help you out. I climbed up the stairs and pulled out my sword. It may be wooden, but I could still outwit a bunch of zombies, even at my lower power level. I ran in, taking advantage of my speed to lure the zombie horde away from my base. That'd keep Coco safe. Now it's time to tango, you undead fiends. Once I was far enough away, I started picking them off one by one, defeating each one quickly before the rest could gang up on me. You know that age-old rule, never get surrounded by zombies. This'll teach you to invade my base. It's just rude, you know? I noticed that one of them dropped an enchanted book on the ground. I ran in and picked it up right away. Oh wow, protection level 4. This will improve the strength of my armor. That's perfect. On days 6 to 8, I decided to build a chicken farm on my base so I could collect the eggs and make myself some nice meals. Once the new section of the base was built, I went out into the jungle to find some wild chickens roaming free. Here, little chickens, I'll put up some fences and make you some nests. While I was there, I collected a few apples from the trees too. Munch, munch, munch. Back to full hearts. Nice! And just in time, too, because I saw a Stragon the Humbubba coming towards me through the trees. He was carrying a bow with flaming arrows.
We meet again, Zozo. You're a long way from your base.
Estragon, I know your name now. What did you do with my friend Ian?
Ian. I'm sick of hearing that name. Almost as sick as I am of keeping him as a hostage. But it'll all be worth it when it's time for the sacrifice.
What? Sacrifice? What are you gonna do to my friend?
I've told you too much already, Zozo. Now it's time for you to run. If you want to survive, that is.
He started shooting fireballs at me, and all I could do was run away. There was no way I could face him with just a wooden sword.
Run, Zozo, run! It doesn't matter. I'll catch you in the end, no matter what.
He kept firing more fireballs as I kept running. There were so many I could barely dodge them all. I just kept ducking and weaving between the trees. They were my only protection. Why can't you just leave me alone?
I can't have you getting in the way of my plans, Zozo. I won't risk it.
Luckily, I was still faster than he was. I was able to keep running until I passed through a gap too small for him. By the time he could make it around, I had hidden behind a tree.
You can't hide forever, Zozo.
Then he angrily spat fire all over. I didn't feel safe until I saw him fade into the distance, looking for me. I'm gonna need to get so much stronger before I can beat that guy. I hope you're safe out there, Ian. On days 9 to 10, I was hanging out with Coco, thinking about how to pass the time while I searched for Ian and figured out Humbaba's evil plan. Coco had a pretty bright idea about that.
How about you build a statue, Zozo? That's a great way to pass the time, and it'll help inspire you to complete your mission.
Great idea, Coco. I'm so glad I have you around to help me out. But what would the statue be? It has to be something Ian would love. I was sitting on the balcony, thinking of what exactly to build. Oh wait, I know! I'd build a statue of Ian. He'd love to have a big statue of himself to look at. I ventured out to the plains where I started mining some more materials. This would help me build my statue and improve my base. I went back to the base and started building the statue's foundation. Heck yeah, that's a good start. I also decided it was time to furnish my home a bit more. I needed somewhere to chill out and maybe read. Oh, I know, I'll build myself a library. That will be the perfect place to study and relax.
Yes.
I built myself a nice, cozy library with bookshelves, chairs, and a fireplace. Now this is the way to live. On days 11 to 12, I was exploring a cave, searching for more materials, when suddenly an ancient spirit villager appeared right in front of me. Oh no, a ghost!
Be not afraid, Zozo.
How do you know my name?
I know many things. As an ancient spirit, it is my duty to guide heroes and warriors who are pure of heart to their destiny. I can sense that you have a mission, Zozo. I can give you the answers, but you must ask the right questions.
Well, a humbaba named Estragon kidnapped my best friend Ian, and I think he's up to something bad. Can you tell me everything you know about him?
Yes, Estragon the Humbaba. There is a great darkness in that creature's heart. He started out like any other Humbaba, living in the desert plains with his family. But like many evil men, Estragon wasn't satisfied with what he had, with the love of his friends and family. He always lusted for power, to gain control over others. His quest to become a more powerful being led him to the end, a realm even darker and further from the overworld than the Nether. He knew that the forces of the end would give him power he only dreamed of, but it exacted a terrible price in return. A sacrifice. He wanted the power of the end. He would need to forsake the overworld and help the Endermen and Enderophages take it over and make it their own. He gains power to perform this ritual through sacrifice. I would wager that this is his intention with your friend, Ian.
What? That's even worse than I thought. I need to get stronger and defeat this guy before he can hurt anyone else. From days 13 to 15, I returned to the cave where I first met Coco the Chocobo. I wanted to get strong enough to defeat Estragon the Humbaba. I needed to at least be strong enough to defeat that Mimikyu. As I got deeper into the cave, I saw it was waiting for me on top of a stalagmite. Clearly he had gotten some flair for the dramatic. As it hopped down towards me, I dodged and went for his back, trying to hit him where he couldn't block with his shield. He took a lot of hits from my wooden sword, but eventually I did manage to defeat it with a good swing to the back. The fight made a difference because I could feel myself leveling up. I went from 5 to 8 hearts, got twice as strong, and gained a new ability, Disguise. APHMAU is great at fitting in, so I could now convince some lower level mob groups that I'm one of them, just as long as I don't act too out of character. This will probably come in handy later. After that, I mined some stone and left the cave. All this will help me rescue Ian and stop Estragon someday. On days 16 to 19, I built myself a crafting room so I could make better gear. I used my crafting table and the stone I'd collected to make myself a new set of gear, a stone sword, a stone pickaxe, and a stone axe. We've just entered the Stone Age, baby. I realized I needed more materials for base building and crafting. That's why I started exploring an underground cavern near my base. The deeper I got into the cavern, the more I noticed how cold it had gotten, even cooler than you'd usually expect for an underground cavern. That's when I noticed an Iceman standing deeper into the cavern, waiting for any intruders to enter. He was walking towards me. I needed to think fast. Now is probably a good time to try out my new disguise ability. As the Iceman approached me, I switched into my Iceman disguise.
Hey, who goes there?
Hey, it's me, fellow Iceman. So nice to see another one of my cold bros down here.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is nice to see another Iceman down here.
It looks like my disguise worked.
Well, what can I do you for, fellow Iceman?
You mind if I mine some materials? I need to upgrade my equipment.
Sure thing, bud. Be my guest.
My new disguise ability was already coming in handy. With the Iceman's approval, I mined some extra stone and made my way back to my base. On days 20 to 22, I woke up to Coco the Chocobo outside the door to my bedroom, frantically calling for me.
Zozo! Zozo! It's an emergency!
What's wrong, Coco?
Estragon the Humbaba is right outside. I think he's here to see you.
Uh-oh, I better get dressed and go see him then. I grabbed my equipment and ran out of the base. I saw Estragon the Humbaba standing there, waiting for me.
Meet again, Zozo. Our last meeting was cut tragically short. If I recall correctly, you ran away like a coward. Will you run away now?
I'm through running away. I'm ready to take you on, Estragon. Are you brave enough to fight me directly?
Gladly.
Estragon readied his claws and ran at me. We dueled, managing to dodge or parry most of each other's blows.
Impressive. You've gotten a lot stronger since we last fought.
Thanks for providing the encouragement. As we kept fighting, I managed to hold my own, but I was getting tired. Lucky for me, it seemed like Estragon was getting tired too.
You've proven yourself, Zozo, but this isn't even my final form. The next time we fight, it'll be the end of you. Mark my words.
And with that, he ran off, leaving us on a draw. But the next time I would meet him, I finally believed it might be my turn to take home the victory. When I'm done with you, Estragon, the only end you'll need to worry about is your own. On days 23 to 26, I explored an underground cavern, hoping to find some interesting loot. Using torches I placed along the wall to light my way, I walked deeper and deeper into the belly of the cavern. Along the way, I saw a family of spiders skittering along the stone. I really didn't feel like fighting these guys, so I hid in the shadows and watched them pass. Ugh, spiders always give me the creeps. Once the spiders were gone, I kept creeping into the cavern. I could just feel I was getting closer to something worthwhile. Hey, what's that? That's when I discovered an old chest hidden among the rocks. I opened it and found a potion of healing inside. This will help me regain 2 hearts. I better keep this for when I really need it. And if you want more Zozo videos when you really need them, search ZOZO in your search bar and you'll be able to find all my Minecraft adventures. On days 27 to 31, Coco brought me some materials to get started on the statue, and I quickly got to work on it, knowing that it would help to motivate me to take on Estragon and rescue Ian. This is looking rad, but I can't help but feel like it's missing something. I realized pretty quickly that the statue needed some more colors to really bring it to the next level. I made my way over to a nearby desert where I found some abandoned sheep in a pen. Their wool is exactly what we need for the statue. As soon as I tried to get closer, however, a gang of husks appeared from behind the sands. It was too late to use my disguise skill. They'd already seen me, and now I was in trouble. I'm guessing you guys don't want to just talk this one out? Spoiler alert, they didn't. I pulled out my stone sword and started fighting off the gang of angry husks. There were plenty of them, but I was a lot stronger than I used to be. I bet you wished you'd just talked it out with me now, huh? Some husks with bows were hiding on top of a sand dune, firing arrows at me. But they weren't as good a shot as Estragon, so I was able to dodge their arrows and run at them. Come on, guys, you can do better than that. I swung my sword again and again and again, never letting up. By the time I was done, those ancient bad guys were done, and I was free to explore the pen. I found a big stash of wool in a nearby chest. Since I had what I needed, I set the sheep free. Enjoy your freedom. With that done, I made my way back to my base to continue work on the statue. On days 32 to 35, I decided I needed a change of scenery, so I left my base and ventured down to the swamp to see if there were any interesting materials to collect. It's got that fresh swamp smell, but I didn't find any interesting materials. Instead, I found a swarm of monstrous swamp leeches, and I really didn't want them to get too close to me. I think I might be allergic to leeches, especially giant monster leeches. As I tried to run away, I fell into the bog and found even more monstrous swamp leeches slithering through the water towards me. I needed to get out of here. I climbed out of the water and started running as fast as I could as the leeches started slithering up onto the ground behind me. Those monsters must be really hungry, but I don't want to be on the menu, you nasty leeches. I pulled out my sword and I was able to fight a few of them off. But every time I took out a few of them, more crawled out of the water. I was on their turf now. Okay, I'm leaving. Just please stop trying to eat me. After running for a while, I finally managed to escape all the hungry leeches. I stopped for a minute to catch my breath, and that's when the Iron Chicken ran out to meet me.
Please, kind stranger, I need your help.
Of course, tell me what's happening.
My chicken friend was kidnapped and dragged away into a tomb, but it's too heavily guarded for me to go and get her back myself. Will you help me do it?
I will. My friend got kidnapped too, so I know exactly how you feel. I'll get right on it. On days 36 to 39, I followed some instructions the Iron Chicken gave me until I found my way over to the ancient tomb. Of course they'd be hiding the kidnapped chicken in the creepiest place possible. Duh. Getting in wouldn't be easy. I could see a powerful looking stone monster guarding the gate, and I had no idea what other enemies or traps were waiting for me inside. I needed to think of a way to approach this tactically. Wait, I have an idea. The stone monster hadn't seen me yet, so I could use my disguise skill to infiltrate the building without needing to fight the stone monster. Once I was inside, I could try to find the chicken and sneak back out. It'd be a flawless plan, and nobody would need to get hurt. That's the APHMAU way. What could possibly go wrong? Days 40 to 43, I put my plan into action. I used my disguise ability to take on the form of a stone monster and approach the stone monster guarding the entrance to the ancient tomb. Hey there, fellow stone monster. How's it going?
Do I know you?
Well, we're both stone monsters, aren't we? What's up? You guarding the tomb? Can I go in?
Look, buddy, this is a security job. I don't let anyone into this tomb unless I know them. So, who are ya?
I feel like I definitely know you from somewhere.
Are you a friend of my brother, Michael?
Yes, that's it. Some would say I'm his best friend. Me and Mikey go way back. So, you mind if I enter the tomb?
You dope. I don't have a brother. I'm taking you down.
My disguise was foiled. The stone monster ran towards me, and I used my speed and agility to dodge around him and run into the ancient tomb. Don't worry, chicken. I'm coming for you. I ran into the tomb. It was a cold, dark passageway where I could barely see in front of my face. Put up a couple torches along the walls just so I could find my way around. That's when I found a potion of night vision laying around on the floor of the tomb. This is perfect, just what I needed. I took the potion just in time to see a vicious ruby mummy running towards me. It gave me the fright of my life. I dodged the lunging mummy and only then noticed a green chicken cowering behind the mummy. Hey chicken, come with me. We need to get out of this scary dump. I didn't have to tell the chicken twice. She ran after me as I ran out of the tomb, leaving the shambling ruby mummy behind us. We also passed the big, strong stone monster on the way out and left the tomb for good. The green chicken and I returned to the swamp where she was reunited with her good friend, the Iron Chicken.
Thank you, Zozo. I'll never forget this.
No problem, Iron Chicken. I just hope I don't need to go into any more creepy tombs anytime soon. On days 44 to 49, after reuniting with the chickens, I decided I needed a little reminder of the friend I was doing all of this to save. I haven't forgotten about you, Ian. That's why I continued working on the statue with some of the materials I'd been gathering. It was getting a little taller every day. I loved seeing my work get better and better like this. Okay, the statue is coming along nicely, but now I need to beef up my home defenses a little. I mined some stone out of the ground nearby and started building a wall around the base to keep it secure from any potential attackers. I'd like to see Estragon break in now. Oh wait, I should probably build a door. I built a double door into the front of the perimeter gate and mounted torches all around the sides to ward off mobs. After that, I got to work making Ian a room of his own. He needed a good place to stay after I got him back from Estragon. While I was at it, I decided to add a kitchen as well. Can't live off of apples forever. Now my base was really coming along. On days 50 to 53, my new security system was put to the test when Estragon the Humbaba attacked the base again. And this time, he brought friends. There was an army of enderophages, headed by one of Estragon's generals, the mutant Enderman, who was larger and stronger than your average Enderman. You just don't know when to quit, do you, Estragon?
Why would I quit, Zozo? I hold all the cards. You've been getting too big for your boots. This is gonna teach you a valuable lesson about your place in things. Minions, attack!
On Estragon's order, the army attacked. I thought my new perimeter wall would keep me, Coco, and our base safe, but that's when the mutant Enderman came in. He teleported past the wall and opened the door from the inside. That's when the enderophages came storming into the base. Uh-oh, this isn't good. I pulled out my stone sword and tried my best to fight off the enderophages. But as they attacked me, I caught the ender flu and felt myself getting temporarily weaker. I wasn't even strong enough to stop them from getting to Coco the Chocobo.
Zozo, help! They've got me!
Coco, no! But it was already too late. Estragon teleported away with Coco. All that was left at the base was me, the enderophages, and the mutant Enderman. That's it! All of you bad guys are going down! One by one, with my stone sword, I took down all the remaining enderophages, and the mutant Enderman teleported away in fear. The battle gave me enough XP that I gained 2 more hearts and double speed. I quickly ran back inside and opened my fridge and grabbed some milk. Thankfully, drinking it removed the enderflu from me. Now it's time to get serious. I'm not letting Estragon keep Coco and Ian. I'm getting them both back. On days 54 to 57, I decided I needed to improve my base defense system before I took the fight to Estragon and his goons. I reinforced my perimeter wall by making it thicker and adding more layers, and I added lanterns around the outside to ward off any enemy mobs. Good luck teleporting through that, mutant Enderman! The next defense I needed was knowledge. That's why I returned to the underground cavern where the wise ancient spirit villager was waiting for me. Ancient Spirit Villager, I need your help! Estragon keeps attacking me and taking my friends, but I don't know where to even start looking for him to get my friends back. Where should I look?
Well, I think I may have an answer for you, Zozo. Across the forest, in the Badlands, there is an ancient temple, which I believe is owned by Estragon the Humbaba. Perhaps, if you find this place, you can discover Estragon's end portal. If you find that, you may be able to rescue your friends and stop his terrible plans.
That sounds like a plan, but first, I'm gonna need to improve my weapons and equipment. If I want to take on Estragon, I need to become more powerful than ever. That's when I set off for a nearby mine. On days 58 to 62, I entered the mine and started mining iron ore with my stone pickaxe. This will be perfect for upgrading my gear. But while I was mining, I suddenly felt a presence behind me. I turned and saw the mutant Enderman lurking in the dark. You again? I've had enough of you. The mutant Enderman teleported toward me, but I wouldn't let him get the advantage here. I pulled out my stone sword and finally put an end to the crafty teleporting villain. He had one final trick up his sleeve though. Before I could back off, I got sucked into the ender energies that exploded out of him. By the end of it though, I was in a lot better shape than he was. You picked the wrong side, mutant Enderman. I gathered up the rest of the iron and returned to my base. There, I used my crafting table to create an iron sword, an iron pickaxe, an iron axe, and a full set of iron armor. Looks like I'm getting stronger and stronger every day. Yeah! On days 63 to 66, I continued working on the statue. It was coming along well, but it still had a long way to go. And it was a heck of a lot harder to build without any of my friends here to help me. But I had to keep going, because that's what heroes do. That, and go on adventures, of course. If you want to make sure you never miss an exciting Zozo adventure, hit subscribe and click the bell to get notifications. We promise we've got some even cooler adventures on the way. And you can even suggest your ideas for adventures down in the comments. I love hearing what you have to say. But now, it's time to continue my quest. Let's do this! On days 67 to 70, I followed the ancient spirit villager's instructions to find Estragon's hidden dungeon. I trekked across the forest until I reached the Badlands. There, I finally found a cave entrance guarded by a few floating ghasts. With this kind of security, this has gotta be Estragon's secret dungeon. I bet Ian and Coco are trapped in here. Using my impressive speed, I ran in through the cave's entrance, avoiding the fireballs blasted at me by the patrolling ghast. You can't catch me. I'm gonna get in there and save my friends. On days 71 to 74, I entered the dungeon. There were wither skeleton skulls on the floor, but suddenly, in a black puff of smoke, they reanimated into wither skeletons. Great! More enemies, just what I wanted. Pulled out my iron sword and started dueling the wither skeletons. But they were stronger than I expected. Even iron wasn't that effective at stopping them. I jumped to a platform off the side of the bridge to make some distance between us. That sure is a long way down. The wither skeletons were hesitant to follow over the gap. Then I took a look around and noticed something sitting on the ground nearby. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Whoa, a mace! That's one of the most powerful weapons out there. Looks like I'm getting some good luck after all. With the mace, I made short work of the wither skeleton squad, blasting them all into a pile of ebony bones. Not so tough now, huh? After defeating the wither skeletons, I noticed a gate at the back of the dungeon. I just knew that whatever I wanted, it was hiding behind that door. Let's go! On days 75 to 78, I walked through the gate at the back of the dungeon and entered Estragon's lair. The Humbaba was standing there, waiting for me, with a huge end portal on the ground behind him.
I bet you're proud of yourself. You've come so far. And what a shame it'll be what happens to you in the end. Do you have any final regrets?
Yeah, not taking you down sooner! I pulled out my new mace and ran toward Estragon. He tried to dodge, but I was too fast for him. All it took was one good strike, and Estragon was thrown across the room. Needless to say, he didn't seem happy.
You really have gotten stronger.
And I've gotten angrier. You'll see just how angry I can get if you don't tell me where I can find my friends.
Oh, you'll find them. But to find them, you'll need to follow me.
Estragon jumped into the end portal and disappeared. I wasn't going to let him get away, so I jumped in right after him. On day 79 to 84, I arrived in the end, where Estragon the Humbaba was already waiting for me on top of some kind of tower. The sky above was pitch black. Something about this place made me shudder all the way down to my bones.
Welcome, Zozo, to the end. I hope you find it as hospitable as I do.
Give it up, Estragon. It's over. Tell me where you're keeping my friends.
Oh, they're right here, Zozo, but you'll never see them again. Isn't that just tragic?
Now this creep was really making me angry. Not as weak as I used to be, Estragon. I can defeat you now.
Perhaps you can, but can you beat me after this?
Estragon the Humbaba started floating off the top of the tower. I could feel an energy building in the air. What was happening here?
Prepare to witness true power, Zozo.
In a puff of poisonous purple mist, Estragon harnessed the power of the end and transformed into an Ender Dragon, one of the most powerful enemies imaginable.
This is what it's all been building to. I've harnessed the power of the end and become stronger than I could have ever hoped to be. Soon, with the help of my Endermen and my Endriophages, I will conquer the world!
I'll never let you do that!
You'll be too dead to stop me!
Estragon the Ender Dragon fired a purple fireball at me. I had no hope of surviving like this. I ran away and hopped back into the end portal. If I couldn't figure something out soon, we'd all be doomed. On days 85 to 89, I ran back through the forest to my base. By the time I got back there, I was exhausted from the journey and from my last fight. I needed to take a nap and get my energy back. That's when I got an unexpected guest. The ancient spirit villager floated into the room and woke me up. Ancient spirit villager, what are you doing here?
Seems the situation has become graver than ever, Zozo. Our shared enemy, Estragon, has taken the form of an Ender Dragon.
I know that, ancient spirit villager. I saw it happen.
Then you know how much is at stake, what we must do in order to stop him and save the overworld from his tyranny.
You still think I can beat him?
If you wish to save your friends, Ian and Coco, then you will have to. But you will need to get stronger first. Here, take this.
The ancient spirit villager gave me a sharpness enchantment, which would make my mace even stronger. But if I wanted to beat this new Estragon, I needed to make my spirit stronger as well as my weapons. Feeling well rested, I went out to the statue and put on the final finishing touches. It looked amazing, just like my friend Ian. I knew when he finally saw it, he'd love it. He always was a little full of himself. That's when the ancient spirit villager appeared to me one more time.
Zozo, my time is almost at an end, but I have a message to impart to you. If you wish to survive the wrath of the Ender Dragon, you must wear the ultimate armor. You will find it in a chest, hidden in the Nether Wastes. There is a portal to the Nether on the stone shores. You can do it. I believe in you.
And with that, the ancient spirit villager faded away. I would need to do the rest alone. Thank you, ancient spirit villager, for everything. On days 90 to 94, I used the sharpness enchantment the spirit villager gave me on my mace to make it stronger. I took my enhanced mace and made my way to the stone shores. I could see the nether portal glowing in the distance. It's now or never. Have I made that joke before? There were a few zombies scattered along the shoreline. When they saw me, they immediately started running towards me. Thankfully, by this point, I was way too strong for them. I took them all out with my mace and ran towards the portal. Nothing is gonna stop me now. I jumped into the portal and was suddenly transported to the fiery nightmare world of the Nether. Now I've gotta find that chest. This place is way bigger than I thought. As I wandered further into the Nether Waste, I was attacked by a horde of zombified piglins, all oinking furiously. Guys, I'm just looking for the chest. I don't want any trouble. They weren't interested in listening. Instead, they all attacked me and gave me no choice but to fight back. Take this and that. My mace was so powerful now, it only took one strike each to destroy them. The biggest problem was that my mace was slow, so it took me a while to work through them all. They really should give you guys a raise. Once the zombified piglins were taken care of, I continued exploring until I found an empty bastion remnant. This must be where all those zombified piglins came from. I wonder if they were guarding something. I crept inside, and that's when I saw it, the chest, the exact thing that the ancient spirit villager told me about. I opened it up and found something amazing inside, a set of netherite armor, the strongest armor ever. This would be perfect for keeping me safe against the wrath of Estragon. With the armor in my inventory, I ran back to the portal. It was time to return to my base and prepare. Don't worry, Ian and Coco, I'm coming back for you soon. On days 95 to 96, I continued the prep for my final battle back at the base. I used my library to craft a few new enchantment books that'd give me the edge in the fight against Estragon. Even though my netherite armor was already the strongest armor you could get your hands on, it could still be stronger. I gave it the projectile protection enchantment so I could withstand anything that Estragon the Ender Dragon threw at me. But I didn't stop there. When you think dragons, you also think fire. That's exactly why I also gave my netherite armor the fire protection enchantment. You won't be able to toast me now, Estragon. But I couldn't just load all my efforts into defense. My mace was powerful, but it was also slow, and it was no good at long range. Not exactly great when your enemy can fly. That's why, just to be sure, I also made a throwing axe to keep in my inventory, just in case Estragon decided to cheat and use his wings. And to think, I started this journey as just a fun YouTuber. Now I'm a powerful dragon hunting warrior. Let's go! On days 97 to 98, I made the hard trek across the forest toward the cave where Estragon was keeping his end portal. I was nervous. After all, the Ender Dragon was one of the strongest enemies I'd ever faced. But I knew in my heart that I could win this thing and save my friends. Do you believe I can do it? Let me know down in the comments, along with what adventure you'd like me to take on next. Anytime you want more Minecraft adventures with me, Zozo, just search ZOZO for more. That's when I noticed that dark, scary dungeon right in front of me. Okay, Estragon, it's now or never. I'm gonna defeat you once and for all. On day 99, I entered the dungeon where Estragon was keeping his portal to the end. If I didn't defeat him here, he might become all-powerful and spread the Ender creatures all over the world. I can't just let that happen. I jumped into the end portal and was immediately transported to the main island of the end. I saw Coco the Chocobo and Ian trapped in cages, watching helplessly, while the mighty Ender Dragon floated up above.
Ha! You actually came back! I can't tell whether you're brave or just foolish, but I'll destroy you either way.
Coco and Ian looked amazed to see me here, and I was so happy to see them.
Zozo, I can't believe you actually came back to help us.
This is literally the coolest thing you've ever done. Don't worry, guys, I'm gonna save you. That just made Estragon laugh.
I thought it might be nice for them to see you get destroyed. It's a little parting gift from me to you, you pathetic little weakling.
Who are you calling weakling? It was time to level up. I equipped my mace and felt myself beginning to change. I upgraded, reaching twice my height and strength, my final form. Let's do this, Estragon. Estragon immediately swooped down towards me, doing the Ender Dragon dive. I quickly ran and dodged out of the way as he collided with the ground. That was too close. I grabbed my mace and ran towards him, ready to deal a blow, but he was already up and flying around again. Aw, come on, that's not fair. He unleashed a purple fireball that flew down towards me and exploded, filling the area around me with that lethal pink haze. I could hardly breathe. I needed to get out of here before it depleted my health. This is even worse than Ender Flu. The Ender Dragon had so many attacks, I could barely keep up. Just as I was recovering from the poison gas, the Ender Dragon flew towards me again, spewing a barrage of normal fireballs down onto me. If I wasn't wearing my enchanted netherite armor, I probably would have been melted, right there and then. Despite my armor, they still dealt some damage, taking out 2 of my hearts. Thankfully, I still had my healing potion to get me back to full health. Bottoms up. And Estragon certainly didn't like that.
Face it, Zozo, I'm all-powerful. You can't stop me. I will rule the overworld.
But I wasn't done just yet. I grabbed my throwing axe and prepared for the next attack. This time, I'd be ready. You want to finish me off, Estragon? Come on and do it then.
If you insist, Zozo.
I saw Estragon preparing for another dive towards me. This would be my chance. As he got closer, I threw my axe at him, throwing off his arc and sending him collapsing into the ground with an earth-shaking crash. Before Estragon the Ender Dragon could get himself back up into the air, I pulled out my powerful mace and ran over, straight towards his head. I could see him starting to panic.
Wait, Zozo, no, you can't do this!
This is what happens when you kidnap my friends. Boom! With one strike of my mace to his head, Estragon the Ender Dragon was destroyed for good. It was over!
You did it, Zozo!
Yeah, you won! On day 100, me, Ian, and Coco escaped the end. I let them run ahead while I turned around to throw my mace into the portal to destroy it, so nobody like Estragon would ever come back. The portal started bubbling up, so I rushed to get far away from it. When I turned around, I saw a dozen of tiny falling stars raining down on the dungeon and portal, slowly reducing it to rubble. Then we made our way back to the base to finally hang out and chill. The adventure may have been over, but now with my friends back, the fun had just begun. On day 1, I spawned in as a lethal poison lizard in the middle of the deep dark Zelkova forest. Oh, I look like I'm one rad reptile, even though I'm just a little baby lizard. I wonder if I have any powers. I walked over to a tree and swiped at it. I didn't even have a tool or weapon, but it turned out I had a set of awesome poison claws that I could use for claw-based attacks. I certainly wouldn't want to mess with me. But just because I wouldn't mess with me doesn't mean other people wouldn't. This point was proven when a huge, dog-headed guy charged through the forest towards me.
You dares invade the overworld of the mighty Lord Anubis? You are a trespasser, and all trespassers will be annihilated.
Maybe we can work this out. What if I did some work for you? I'm really good at completing quests.
What kind of value would I ever find in a nasty little poison lizard? To have you in my royal sight disgusts me. I will crush you, destroy you, leave not even a memory of your presence. Prepare to meet your doom, lizard!
Before I could even try to reason with him, Anubis blasted a fireball near to me. I didn't feel like taking my chances. I just turned and ran off as fast as I could. Oh no, I'm gonna need to get strong enough to defeat that guy, or I'm toast. I guess being a poison lizard doesn't win you many friends right off the bat. I hid in the forest, but that didn't mean I was out of the woods yet, literally. On day 2, I continued my journey through the forest. It wasn't long until I felt my reptilian stomach rumble and decided that I needed to source some food. I don't see anything meaty around here, so I guess I'll settle for some fruit. Is there an apple tree anywhere near me? I searched for a little while until I found one, before striking it down with my poison claws and grabbing some yummy apples to eat. At least I know now that I won't keel over from hunger. It'll probably be that evil jackal god with the fireballs that does me in. Speaking of the devil, I saw a desiccated desert mummy walking out of the trees near to me. He didn't look friendly, I could tell you that much.
You must be the nasty little lizard that the great Lord Anubis told me about.
Of course you work for him, but why? He doesn't seem like he'd be a chill boss.
Fool! Anubis was the lord of the underworld, and with our help, he has conquered the overworld too. All who defy him must be eliminated.
Not if I have anything to say about it. I struck him with my poison claw attacks, but seeing that the desert mummy was already undead, my poison didn't affect him much. He was too strong. Uh-oh, all I could do was turn around and run, and I kept running until the desert mummy was fully out of sight. It was so frustrating to not be strong enough to defeat anyone. But when I stopped to rest, a ghost miner suddenly materialized right in front of me. Oh no, are you gonna attack me too?
No, Zozo. I am your spirit guide. It is up to me to help you fulfill your destiny.
My destiny?
It is unsafe to discuss here. Come with me.
He talked a good game, so I walked after the mysterious ghost miner. On day 3, the ghostly miner kept leading me through the Zelkova forest until we came upon a strange little cottage in the middle of the woods. This place seems a little suspicious.
This is the dwelling of the mystery sheep, Zozo. He is one of the allies that will help you along your journey to fulfilling your true destiny. Trust in me, and all will be okay in the end.
The ghost miner disappeared. He was certainly a strange guy, but who was I to disagree with the advice of my spirit guardian? Time to speak to the mystery sheep, I guess. I patiently waited at the door until it opened, and the mystery sheep trotted out.
What brings you here, stranger?
I was told to visit you by my spirit guide. He told me that you could help me fulfill my destiny.
Oh yes? And what is your destiny?
Good question. I'm not entirely sure, but it's gotta have something to do with defeating this Lord Anubis guy who attacked me as soon as I arrived.
Ah, Lord Anubis, an arrogant little god, and vain too. I can see why he would despise a little poison lizard like you. But there's good news in that, my friend. If he underestimates you, then you can take him by surprise. If you do that, then you may have a chance to defeat him.
With that advice, I left the cottage to go make my own way in the world. The mystery sheep is right. Underestimating me might be the worst mistake that Anubis ever made. From day 4 to day 5, I kept searching until I found a little clearing in the Zelkova forest, big enough to build a little base for myself. I'm never gonna get strong enough to defeat Anubis if I don't learn to be independent. But I can't accomplish my goals if I don't have the right tools. That's why I slashed down a tree and used its resources to build myself a wooden pickaxe. Then, I didn't waste any time digging into the ground to collect some stone and craft myself a stone pickaxe and a stone sword. The stone sword will be useful if I run into another one of those freaky desert mummies. With my tool building work done for the day, I finally put some effort into building a little base. I made it out of wood and stone to keep it sturdy and made myself a little bedroom where I could relax when I wasn't out adventuring. My day's progress made my spirit guide, the ghost miner, materialize right in front of me.
Zozo, you have done well. Every step you take brings you closer to your destiny.
Thank you, Ghost Miner. Your advice has been super helpful.
Good. I have a gift for you. Take some of my ghostly energy and feel your power grow.
The Ghost Miner hit me with a blast of powerful spirit energy right in my face, and I could immediately feel myself getting bigger and stronger. I now had 20 hearts, more powerful attacks, and the ability to fire poison blasts.
You will be the one to save us all, Zozo.
From day 6 to day 8, I ventured out of the Zelkova forest for the first time. I decided to wander around the Badlands, which had a warmer climate that's perfect for a cold-blooded poison lizard like me. Feels good to feel the warmth on my scales. But my trip to the Badlands wasn't just an exercise in pure escapism and relaxation. As I walked, I was suddenly ambushed by the same desert mummy who had attacked me earlier.
Time for some pest control. I'm going to destroy you once and for all, you nasty little poison lizard, for the glory of the great Lord Anubis.
I'm not gonna be that easy, Mr. Mummy. I'm a lot stronger than I used to be.
You think that matters to Lord Anubis? I'm just one of his mummy servants. Death is just the beginning, Zozo.
No, it's the end. I fired one of my poison blasts at the mummy to slow him down, then ran in with my stone sword to dash him and slash him until he poofed into nothing. That's what you get for bullying me, you beastly bundle of bandages.
I'm impressed, Zozo. Well done.
I turned and saw a mysterious forest guardian standing right behind me.
You have proven yourself to be a potential friend of the forest, my son. And if you help me rid this sacred place of evil, then I can give you wondrous prizes and powers. Do you agree to help me, Zozo?
That sounds like a great deal to me. Let's go. From day 9 to day 10, I followed the guardian of the forest deeper into the Badlands. It didn't take him long to lead me to a location where a huge, terrifying spider queen was waiting. That's what he wants me to slay? Yikes, I guess I'll try my best. I ran in and tried to mount a sneak attack on the Spider Queen, but my attacks weren't strong enough to leave any lasting damage, and I couldn't say the same for her attacks against me. I ran away as fast as I could until I rendezvoused with the Guardian of the Forest and told him what happened.
I'm sorry for sending you into danger like that, Zozo. All things considered, you're lucky to be alive. Perhaps being a poison lizard allowed you to have a greater immunity to her Spider Queen venom.
I think when I'm stronger, I'll be able to take her down. In the meantime, why don't you come and stay at my base? I really need to gain some allies right now for a battle I'm fighting against Lord Anubis right now.
Of course, you have assisted in my battle, so I will assist in yours. Lead the way, Zozo.
From day 11 to day 12, I returned to my base with the Guardian of the Forest. I immediately set to work, making him a room on the grounds of the base where he could stay while I was training. It wasn't all that impressive, but it was probably a decent place to get some rest at night. After I was done building, the Guardian came over to me with some good news.
I've built some upgrades for your base, Zozo, as an apology for putting you in a dangerous situation before. Go take a look.
The Guardian of the Forest had clearly used his supernatural powers to work fast. He'd built 3 upgrades, a chicken farm with a few chickens already herded inside, a storage room for spare equipment, and a furnace for smelting raw materials. This is incredible, thank you! And in fact, this gives me an idea. I went into a deep cave next to my base, and I explored inside until I found some iron ore, and used my stone pickaxe to mine it. Then, I went back to my base, used the furnace to smelt the ore into ingots, and turn those ingots into an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. I'm really moving up in the world! From day 13 to day 15, the Ghost Miner, my spirit guide, materialized into the base.
Zozo, you must return to the Badlands!
But why Spirit Guide?
Another one of Anubis's minions, the Desert Mummy, is waiting there. If you defeat him, you will ascend to the next level of strength.
As you wish, Spirit Guide. I ventured out to the Badlands again, and it didn't take me long to find the exact Desert Mummy that the Ghost Miner had told me about. I pulled out my new iron sword, ran in, and attacked until the Desert Mummy was no more. And this gave me enough XP to upgrade again and level up, getting me up to 30 hearts and giving me a bigger, stronger body and more powerful attacks. Whoa, the Ghost Miner is always worth listening to. From day 16 to day 19, I decided to go and explore the strange, eerie Weeping Witch Forest. It's like something out of a fairy tale, a really weird, spooky fairy tale. And it was an interesting place to explore anyway. It was cold and dark, and it felt like something eerie could pop out from around any corner. So it didn't surprise me when another desert mummy emerged right in front of me, ready to battle.
You have slain my undead brethren, but you won't slay me, Zozo. I will annihilate you in the name of my master, Lord Anubis.
I still don't understand why you're so desperate to destroy me. Doesn't your Lord Anubis have bigger fish to fry? He is a literal god after all.
Your presence offends him. We need no more reason than that to send you to the underworld, cold and lifeless.
Not if I send you first. I battled the desert mummy. Just like the mystery sheep said, the mummy had underestimated me, just like his boss. And in the end, I defeated him. Wait, did he drop some kind of note? I looked around and found a note that had been dropped by the destroyed mummy. It came straight from Anubis, and it said, "You bandaged buffoons have failed me for too long. You must destroy this Zozo before he gets stronger. If he reaches full power, his poison will be able to harm me. We cannot allow that. Destroy him now." So that's why he wants to destroy me so bad. I understand it now. From day 20 to day 22, I returned to my favorite mining cave to collect some more iron ore for crafting purposes. All this iron will perfectly match my iron will. I took the ore back to my base and used my furnace to smelt it into some ingots. Soon after, I had myself a tough new iron chest plate. Now I can really take a mean punch. It's time to settle an old score and go squash that evil Spider Queen. Afterwards, I returned to the Badlands, where I'd first met the Guardian of the Forest and promised to him that I'd defeat the Spider Queen that'd been plaguing the area. A poison lizard always pays his debts. I arrived at the Spider Queen's location, and this time, I was truly ready. With my weapons and powers, I attacked and destroyed the Spider Queen once and for all, freeing the Badlands from her terror for good. But my terror was just beginning. After defeating the Spider Queen, I heard something coming quickly towards me. I turned around, and it was Anubis himself.
Zozo, you monster! You destroyed my pet spider! You are truly my arch enemy!
What? I didn't know she was your pet spider. I just knew she was terrorizing creatures of the Badlands.
Yes, because I told her to! I have even more reasons to destroy you now!
I know the actual truth, Anubis. I know that if I get to my full power, my poison will be able to destroy you.
Oh yes, but you'll never get strong enough to be a threat to me. I'll destroy you first.
Anubis blasted me with fireballs, and I ran away as fast as I could. From day 23 to day 26, I managed to get back to my base in the forest with barely a scratch. Anubis had given up chasing me, but only for the time being. Even if he wasn't on my tail now, he was still out there and knew that I could put a stop to his evil plans if I just got stronger. And luckily for me, that was already happening. I met with the Guardian of the Forest again.
You've done well to slay the Spider Queen, Zozo.
Thanks. I didn't realize she was the pet of Anubis. But hey, without his creepy crawly, he's more vulnerable, right?
We can only hope, Zozo.
I was on a roll, and I couldn't stop now. I headed back to the mines to search for more materials and came across some more iron ore buried underground. I already have an iron sword, pickaxe, and chestplate. What else could come in handy? Oh, a helmet! That would be perfect, having some added armor to protect me. So I turned the iron ore into ingots and crafted myself a brand new helmet. That's when the ghost miner materialized again.
Zozo, come and see.
What is it? I followed my spirit guide. He'd been working on improving my base while I'd been off on my adventures. We'd now had a whole security bunker safe near the main base, a place where we could be secure just in case Anubis' forces ever tried to overrun our base. The bunker was nice and fortified, so they would have had no chance of ever getting in, and we could be nice and protected inside. From day 27 to day 31, I made the decision to venture back towards the Weeping Witch Forest. Even though I'd gotten rid of that nasty desert mummy the last time I was there, the whole place still gave me the creeps. Suddenly, I heard a faint voice, so I looked around to figure out where their voice was coming from. As I turned around, I was startled to see a gigantic axolotl right behind me. Whoa, don't sneak up on me like that.
Oh no, sorry about that, man. People usually spot me coming. On the count of me being a big, bright pink axolotl, didn't mean to startle you.
That's okay. Just tell me you're not working for that big jackal jerk Anubis.
Oh, no, man. In fact, I just wanted to come and say thanks for taking care of that desert mummy of his. Us amphibians and reptiles have got to stick together, right? That mummy destroyed my home, so I'm glad to be rid of him.
Why don't you come back to my base with me?
Aw, thanks, man.
Well, me and Big Axolotl were heading home. He had tons of suggestions about how I could make my base more homey with some new couches and bookshelves. Once we got home, I started to add his suggestions to the base, adding some couches and some bookshelves to liven up the place.
I actually have a real passion for interior design.
After I left Big Axolotl to relax, the ghost miner reappeared.
Zozo, I have another task for you, my son.
What is it? More trouble?
Indeed, I sense there are more of Anubis's forces nearby. We must act swiftly.
From day 32 to day 35, my spirit guide and I both left the safety of my base and headed back to where I had met the mystery sheep. According to the ghostly miner, the poor sheep was under siege from more of Anubis's dastardly desert mummies. The mystery sheep had given me some helpful advice before and offered me guidance when I wasn't sure what my destiny was, so the least I could do to repay him was help him out in his time of need.
Help! Someone please help!
We arrived at the mystery sheep's dwelling, only to see it was swarming with desert mummies. I had only ever beaten a couple of them before, and only in one-on-one fights. But I had been getting stronger, and my confidence was already increasing, so I leapt into battle! I swiped my iron sword at the mummies, launching a few poison attacks, while making sure the ones up close got a taste of the full fury of my improved combat skills. I took out one and another, but while I was busy fighting my way through them, some of the desert mummies went after the mystery sheep.
Zozo, things look bad. It may be too late for me. Remember your destiny. I know you won't let us down.
I wasn't able to save the mystery sheep. Even by the time I had defeated the other desert mummies, there was no one feeling more defeated than me. From day 36 to day 39, I left to clear my head. The ghost miner offered to come with me so he could comfort me in the wake of losing the mystery sheep, but I told him I'd rather be on my own for a while. I decided I'd head back to the Badlands, feel some more warm sunlight on my scaly lizard skin, in the hopes that that might cheer me up. I was contemplating what had gone wrong. I was stronger, but not strong enough to save my friend. Suddenly, while I was thinking to myself, a phantom fox appeared.
Greetings, Zozo. I am Phantom Fox, a spirit of swiftness. I know you are grieving the loss of the mystery sheep, but I have a task you must complete.
Okay, I know the mystery sheep wanted me to make everyone proud, so I guess me carrying on getting stronger is what he would have wanted. The Phantom Fox led me toward another of Anubis's minions, an Endergast from the Jackal God's underworld. I ran towards it, prepared to fight, and readied my poison attacks. But I quickly found out that my poison had no effect on the Endergast. So my sword had to do, and with a few strong swings, I was able to defeat the ghastly minion.
Well done, Zozo. I know that the mystery sheep would be proud. He and all the other spirits are counting on you to defeat the one who turned on us.
You mean Anubis was once one of you?
Indeed, but he betrayed us and took control of the underworld, becoming its god. Now, he'll stop at nothing to expand his power up here and control everything that is, that was, and that will be.
From day 40 to day 43, I made my way back to my base in the Zelkova forest. I was still feeling sad about the loss of the mystery sheep, but a little better after chatting with the Phantom Fox. But any of my sadness quickly disappeared when I saw what awaited me. My friend, the guardian of the forest, had been working on improving my base to cheer me up. The place had been adorned with plenty of pretty banners draped over the walls to decorate the place. Wow, this place looks great! What made you want to go to all this trouble?
Well, Zozo, I knew you needed your spirits lifted after losing an ally, and by improving the look of our base, I hoped it might bring new allies to us so that we can honor the mystery sheep and stand up to Anubis once and for all.
Decorating the base clearly worked, because a little while later, a spider llama arrived looking for a place to stay, so I gladly let them join us. When the day was almost done, I was finally approached by the big axolotl.
Hey man, listen, I've got a favor to ask. I left some of my special netherite ingots back in the Weeping Witch Forest after my old home was destroyed. Think you could help me get them back?
From day 44 to day 49, I headed back to the Weeping Witch Forest to recover the netherite ingots that Big Axolotl had sent me to look for. He still seemed a little uneasy about heading back to where he'd used to live, just in case there were more of Anubis's desert mummies creeping around the place. So I agreed to take on the task. After all, Big Axolotl was a cool guy, and he'd made some really nice improvements to my base, so I thought I'd return the favor to my friend. But I hadn't made it far before Anubis came bursting out behind the trees to ambush me. I knew there was something creepy about this place.
There you are, pesky little poison lizard. You've been trying to get yourself stronger, and I can't have that.
Scared of my poison then?
On the contrary, I have more important things to do than waste my time on a little pest like you. For once I control both the overworld and the underworld, I'll be able to have full control over who lives and dies.
You can't do that. That'd make you a monster.
Oh, you want a monster? I'll show you a monster.
Anubis vanished, but left a powerful warped phantom in his place. I was about to have one heck of a tough fight on my hands against this monster. From day 50 to day 53, I defended myself against the warped phantom's attacks. Since it was a creature straight from Anubis's underworld, it could blast bolts of powerful undead spirit energy at me. I tried my best to fend it off, retreating deeper into the Weeping Witch Forest to try and regain my health and come up with a better plan of attack. But the warped phantom wasn't giving up the pursuit.
You can run all you like, little lizard. My master, Lord Anubis, has told me not to return until you are destroyed.
I used the cover of the trees to stay out of the phantom's line of sight, sneaking around so that I could outflank it and take it by surprise. My plan worked, and I caught the warped phantom off guard and was barely just able to defeat it. But when I did, I noticed it had dropped something. It was a map with directions that led right to Anubis's pyramid. It wasn't a desert biome though, it was all the way over in the snowy taiga. Of course, Anubis might be the god of the underworld, but all his minions and mummies up here in the overworld are undead, so he must have needed to keep them cold. Now I knew where I could find that jackal-headed jerk when the time came to take him on. From day 54 to day 57, I did my best to find my bearings and get back on task to find the netherite ingots my friend Big Axolotl had stashed. But when I got to Big Axolotl's stash, there was a new problem blocking my path: a swarm of fire guardians. These things looked like they would be a tough fight, so I decided to use the same tactic that had helped me beat the warped phantom. I snuck up on them, and before they spotted me coming, I leapt into battle. I used my poisonous attacks, and they worked. The poison slowed the fire guardians down and allowed me to have the upper hand. One by one, I extinguished their flames, and after I defeated them, I looted the netherite ingots from the stash and headed back to the base to return them to my friend, and he was thrilled.
Oh, thanks so much, man. You hang on to them. I didn't really need them, but I thought they'd come in handy for you.
So that's why you sent me to get them.
Yeah, I told you before. We amphibians and reptiles have to look out for each other.
From day 58 to day 62, now that I was back at the safety of the base, I decided it would be best to stick around and work on improving things. After all, if the banners the Forest Guardian had put up were going to bring in more allies, then we'd need to be able to feed everyone. I used some wood to craft fences and expanded the chicken farm at the base, so that we had plenty of room for the chickens to lay loads of eggs for everyone. Who doesn't love eggs for breakfast? It was after I'd worked on expanding the chicken farm that I noticed the state of my iron armor. It had seen a lot of action, and all the bumps and batterings of battle had whittled away at its condition. This wasn't going to keep me protected for much longer, so I headed off back to the mine to search for something stronger. And sure enough, digging deeper, I found some diamonds. Bringing them back to the base, I turned them into a fresh new set of diamond armor and a sword and pickaxe to match. Now I had way more defense against Anubis's undead cronies, my sword could do much more damage against them too, and my new pickaxe would make gathering resources all the easier.
Zozo, behold our latest addition!
My spirit guide, the ghostly miner, showed me around the base's brand new party room. We could gather all our allies here, either to have a good time as friends, or coordinate who would be heading out on adventures, who would be gathering resources, and upgrading the base. Wow, this place is looking great! You must have been listening to Big Axolotl's interior decorating tips. From day 63 to day 66, the Guardian of the Forest had some suggestions for where I should head next.
You still have a ways to go, but time is on our side. While Anubis is regaining his forces and planning his next move, yours should be getting stronger. Head to the desert, Zozo. It can be a harsh place, but the heat there should invigorate a cold-blooded lizard such as yourself. And perhaps you will encounter some new challenges to improve your skills and grow your strength.
And so, I headed off in the direction of the desert. There didn't seem to be much there, mostly just lots of sand. It was coarse and rough, and it got everywhere, but at least here, there was plenty of sunlight to warm me up. All of a sudden, I was startled by an abrupt growling coming from nearby. I drew my diamond sword, trusting it could fight off whatever was coming. I was greeted with the sight of a wolfman and expected him to be one of Anubis's allies.
Relax, friend. I mean you no harm.
Oh, that was surprising. It turned out the wolfman was friendly.
Actually, I've been looking for someone to help me with something, and you seem like just the lizard for the job. What do you say? You up for it?
Sure thing. I came here to get stronger, so let's get to it. From day 67 to day 70, the wolfman led me to an open plain in the middle of the desert.
You see, there's these pesky soul blazes. They attacked me and took all my armor and weapons. I have claw attacks like you, but there are too many of them for me to fight alone, especially without protection from armor. So what I need you to do is draw their attention while I grab my stuff. Then I can help you take the rest of them out.
So, when we spotted the soul blazes, I rushed straight at them. They all turned and charged towards me as I swung my diamond sword and started dishing out much more damage than ever before. Meanwhile, as I battled the soul blazes, my new wolfman friend used his wolf speed to get closer to his gear that laid on the ground. He hurriedly got it all on while I chopped at the soul blazes, and with our combined might, we reduced them to dust.
Awesome! What a great fight! You can really hold your own.
I'm glad I could help. From day 71 to day 74, I was in the snowy taiga biome, feeling much tougher than I had when I started. All the hype that the wolfman had given me made me think I was about ready to take on Anubis himself. I used the map to make my way toward Anubis's pyramid. It was way more accurate than some of the old wooden signs I passed. One of them said, "If you like this video, then you can find more by clicking on our channel or searching ZOZO." Once I'd made it closer, I started to feel strange, like I was maybe a little tired. But that all went to the back of my mind the moment I saw Anubis's pyramid, towering over the rest of the frosty landscape. And I didn't have to get much closer for the underworld god to rear his ugly jackal head.
So you've come to give yourself up already, filthy poison lizard?
Nope. I'm a lot stronger now, Anubis. I came to give you a nice big dose of poison and stop all your crazy schemes.
You will try, I'm sure.
We clashed head on, and I took some swings with my diamond sword. But it felt heavier all of a sudden, and so did my armor. Like I was somehow weaker. Of course, it was the cold weather. This place wasn't just perfect for keeping Anubis's undead minions on ice, but the environment of the snowy taiga also made it harder for me to fight him. He dealt me some pretty bad damage, so I had no choice but to retreat for now. From day 75 to day 78, I made the long trek back to my base in the Zelkova forest. The whole time I felt glum. I had been so eager to take on Anubis, but in doing so, I had overlooked one of his major advantages over me. It didn't seem to matter how much stronger I got now, I would still be a poison lizard. And that was why Anubis had set up his pyramid in the snowy taiga. The longer I was in that place, the more dangerous it became for me, thanks to my cold reptilian blood. I didn't even feel like talking to anyone once I was back in the base. Instead, I just went to my room to be on my own for a while. Until, of course, the ghost miner materialized.
Zozo, don't be disheartened. There will be another opportunity to stop Anubis. For now, come and see. We've all been working hard to make some new improvements to protect this place.
I didn't really feel like it, but I let the ghost miner show me around. The base now had a tall watchtower reaching high up above the forest's tree line, so we could keep a lookout for any approaching danger. Even though I was feeling down, I had to admit it was pretty neat. Then, the big axolotl came to speak to me alone.
Hey man, don't worry. Nobody stays down in the dumps for too long. I got you this. Thought it might help. Consider it a thank you for all you've done for me.
Big Axolotl had given me a magic apple. It really did lift my spirits some more. I was lucky to have him as a friend, and even luckier when I ate the magic apple. I felt the magic from the apple transform me into a larger poison lizard, giving me 60 hearts and even a new power, a jump boost, so I could leap even higher on my reptilian legs. From day 79 to day 84, I was ready to pick myself up and try to take on Anubis again. My extra hearts would have made it easier to survive the snowy taiga, and now I had my jump boost. I could get up in the air right into his smug jackal face, and his attacks would miss me. When I made it back, there was no sign of him though, but a pack of thorn wolves tried to take some bites at me, so I showed off some of my newfound strength. They were no match for me.
My, very impressive.
I turned around to see a huge creeper spider. I kept my guard up, but then realized that if they were going to harm me, they could have used the element of surprise when I was fighting the wolves. Instead, the creeper spider offered to show me around the snowy taiga, teaching me a few tricks for staying warm while I was traversing this frosty part of the overworld. But best of all, they showed me how I could use some of Big Axolotl's netherite ingots. By combining them with my diamond sword, I had now made an even more powerful weapon, a netherite sword. From day 85 to day 89, I was heading back to my base to tell my friends the good news, but I was shocked by what awaited me. There was a horde of desert mummies attacking the base. With no time to waste, I rushed into battle to defend my home and my friends from the bandaged fatties. Luckily, my blade of netherite cleaved through most of them with one swing. Seeing I'd taken their numbers down, the remaining desert mummies ran off into the forest. I couldn't let them get away. If they made it back to the snowy taiga, they could tell Anubis exactly where to find my base, and he'd send even more powerful mobs to harm my friends. I rushed after them into the forest. They were a ways ahead of me, and before long, my base had disappeared from view behind all the trees, and so had the desert mummies. Darn it, I had to figure out a way to stop them. While searching the forest, I came across a villager. Hey, have you seen any of Anubis's mummies go this way?
Oh, I have. Please get rid of those horrid undead things.
They pointed me in a direction, but the mummies who'd been causing the villager trouble were a different group. Still, they were Anubis's minions, so I thought it'd be better to take them out nice and quick. My netherite sword made light work of them, and then I kept up the trail of the others, hoping I could reach them in time. From day 90 to day 94, I had been following the desert mummies for quite some time, all the way to the snowy taiga. Oh no, it was too late. They'd be able to report back to Anubis about where my base was. I made sure not to get too close as they approached the Jackal God's pyramid, where they were greeted by a huge beast, a vile ogre.
Good job tracking that poisonous lizard. I will head to that base and destroy what's left on behalf of Lord Anubis. Go and report your findings to him.
Not so fast. I leaped out of cover and stood in the way of the vile ogre.
Ah, there you are. Lord Anubis will be pleased when I tell him you've been destroyed. Do you even know who you're messing with, reptile? I'm Vile Ogre, Anubis's #1 henchman.
Tougher than my poison and netherite sword? From day 95 to day 97, my fight against the vile ogre started. He was bigger and stronger than me, but I had to remind myself that so was I. I'd come a long way since my humble beginnings, but even more importantly, I wasn't fighting just for myself this time. I was fighting to defend my friends who had all worked tirelessly to improve my base, who had helped me persevere when I thought Anubis might beat me, and who had been there for me at my darkest moments. They all deserved protecting, so every swing of my netherite sword or blast of my poison attacks was for them. Luckily for me, the vile ogre didn't realize just how familiar I was with the snowy taiga, thanks to the lessons I'd had from the creeper spider. I was able to use the landscape to my advantage, finding some higher ground that I could leap off of with my jump boost. It sent me high into the air and allowed me to get the jump on him, so to speak. I was able to give him one last strike with my netherite sword and a blast of poison to weaken him.
You bested me. How? How is that possible? Lord Anubis promised I'd be heralded in his new world.
He lied. You and I both know he's not the type to keep his word. He betrayed all the other spirits when he took control of the underworld. My poison will whittle away your remaining health in the next few minutes. Maybe think about using that time wisely.
Fine. Anubis resides in a chamber in the heart of his pyramid, surrounded by his undead armies. You'll never make it to him. You're just one lizard, all alone.
Who said I'd be alone? With the vile ogre defeated, I knew my time to take on Anubis for the final time would soon be at hand. But I was more determined than ever to beat him. I just needed a little help from my friends. On day 98, I made my way back to my base to see that my allies had already made repairs after the desert mummies had attacked. Since I didn't have to worry about repairs, I went to take a quick rest before the big battle. And just like that, the ghost miner appeared to give words of wisdom afterwards.
You've come quite a long way, Zozo. I am very proud, and the mystery sheep would be too.
Thanks. I couldn't have made it this far without such a great spirit guide. I won't let you down. I'll get to Anubis and put a stop to his plans once and for all. The guardian of the forest also had some wisdom to impart to me before I set off on the last part of my journey.
Remember, Zozo, that wherever you are, your true friend will always be with you. Even if we aren't by your side, we can still take us everywhere we go. We all live in the hearts of those that matter to us, and we care about you just as you care about all of those you've helped.
I'll remember. Thanks for everything. And last, but by no means least, my friend, Big Axolotl, seemed to get a bit emotional just as I was about to leave.
Just look after yourself, Zozo, man. You're gonna do great. Just make sure you come back in one piece. Oh man, I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
On day 99, I made my final return to the snowy taiga, prepared for a final showdown with Anubis. The forest guardian was right. I had all my friends with me, and I was fighting to keep them safe. Not just them, but everyone in the overworld. If Anubis got his way, he'd be in control of life and death, and I couldn't let that happen. Even to strangers, because they say a stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet. There was a huge horde of desert mummies waiting for me as I arrived at the pyramid. The cold was making them a little tougher than usual, but hopefully it wouldn't take more than a few strikes of my netherite sword to get through them. Suddenly, before I could get down to the fight, I was stopped by the Wolfman.
Come on, Zozo. Did you really think I'd leave this fight all to you? Can't let you have all the fun. Hey, nice new sword. That looks awesome.
Thanks, it's still pretty new.
You go on ahead, Zozo, my friend. I'll take these dusty old clowns. Go give that jackal jerk what for.
The Wolfman rushed in and led the desert mummies away as I ran in to confront Anubis. On day 100, I finally came face to face with Anubis at the center of his pyramid.
You accursed reptile! You really think you can put a stop to my plans? I am Anubis, god of the underworld, and soon the ruler of the overworld too. You are nothing, just a little lizard with no hope of defeating me.
You talk a big game, but you've been scared of me from the start. You tried to stop me from getting stronger at every turn. That tells me that my poison really can stop you.
Not if I destroy you first.
The final battle was at hand. Anubis came in quick with fast, powerful attacks, so I had to take up my sword to defend against him. He was ferocious. Part of me wondered if I could really beat him. My netherite sword was just enough to deflect his blows, but I couldn't get a good swipe in on him. He was just too quick. But I knew I had to stop Anubis once and for all. I leaped high into the air with my jump boost and launched the strongest poison attack I'd ever made. It blasted Anubis right in the face, and the poison started to immediately take effect. It chipped away at his health more and more, enough for me to jump back towards him and land a final blow with my netherite sword. I've done it! I survived 100 days and defeated Anubis once and for all! The overworld was saved from this jackal-headed jerk. I had fulfilled my destiny, and most importantly, protected all of my friends too. On day 1, I spawned in the Sika Woods as an ICE SPIDERMAN! This is awesome! I didn't think the world's greatest web slinger could get any cooler, but hey, here I am! Things weren't all peachy though. For starters, I only had 10 hearts, and for seconds, a giant buff pigless came barging through the trees towards me.
Spider-Man, I found you!
Wait, what? I don't understand!
Don't play dumb with me, Spider-Man. I'm Pigless Polly, the biggest, meanest, smartest, and also most beautiful pigless in all the land. And you've been trying to mess with my plans for years. Don't think that turning your suit blue would confuse me. I'm a genius.
But I'm just Zozo playing Spider-Man. There's been some kind of mistake.
You will confound me not, puny spider. You better run, or my bubble brawler boys will beat you into a spidery pulp.
I could tell when I wasn't wanted, and this was one of those times. I turned and ran as quickly as I could. What did she mean about her bubble brawler boys? But life soon answered my question. A gang of bubble monsters emerged from the trees and started chasing me. Oh, there they are! Using my enhanced spider speed, I was able to escape and find a hiding place for the night. Always great to spawn into a world where someone already has a grudge against me. I need to figure this out before it's too late. On day 2, when I got the sense that the coast was cleared, I spider climbed out of my hiding spot and started to explore the woods a little more casually. This place is actually pretty beautiful. Maybe I should work on building a home around here. That's when one of the bubble monsters jumped out in front of me.
Oh, I'll build you a home, Spidey. 6 feet under. You've got a lot of nerve showing your face around here. Lady Polly wants us to destroy you on sight.
I still don't know what I did to upset your beast of a boss, but if you think this icy superhero won't be fighting back, you've just made your last mistake. We battled hand to hand. What the bubble monster didn't know was I had super spider strength, so my hits really packed a punch. After a few well-aimed strikes, I burst his bubble and moved on. Wow, beating that guy up really worked up an appetite. I need to find myself some nosh. Lucky for me, there were plenty of trees around. I collected the yummy pears from the leaves. Tasty! I knocked down the rest of the pear tree with my spider fists. With the spare wood, I made myself a wooden pickaxe. Then, I dug into the ground and collected enough stone to assemble a stone pickaxe, stone axe, and a stone sword. I've got that caveman swag now. With my new stone axe, I gathered more wood and built myself a little spider base with a room for me to spend the night indoors. Nice and cozy. Things are gonna get better and better. On day 3, I left my base and went out to explore the Jacaranda forest. It was a gorgeous sight to see. Even if there aren't any useful resources around here, it's worth it for the view. But just because the view was breathtaking didn't mean that everyone who lived there was chill. Case in point, a big angry mutated bee ran over to me.
What do you think you're doing here?
I'm walking here?
Are you making fun of me?
No, I don't even know who you are.
The name's Benson, Barry B. Benson, and I was just a normal bee until my human wife left me and I got turned into the superpowered mutant abomination.
I don't see how that's my problem.
Well, I gotta take it out on somebody, don't I?
Barry B. Benson attacked me with furious intensity, and even with my spider strength, I couldn't defeat his divorced mutant rage. Instead, I ran away as he fumed loudly in the background. He sounded like he should chill out or maybe get into jazz. On my way out of the Jacaranda forest, I ran into a sad-looking spider. Seeing as I myself was also a spider, I decided to go over and ask her if she was okay. Hey, I'm Zozo. Who are you? Is everything okay?
I'm Spider Queen, and sadly, things aren't okay.
Oh wow, Spider Queen? Does that mean you're the queen of all spiders?
No, I'm actually a one-spider tribute act to the band Queen. They're my favorite. But Pigless hates Queen, and she won't let me perform anymore.
That's horrible. Why not come back to my base? You can work on your act there.
That's amazing, Zozo. I want it all.
From day 4 to day 5, I returned to my little base in the Sika Woods with Spider Queen at my side. It's not much, but it's home.
It looks amazing to me, Zozo. Musicians don't make much money, and I'm super impressed by this. Do you want me to sleep on the floor?
What? No way! I'm gonna build you your own room. So that's exactly what I did. I gathered up enough wood to make Spider Queen her own special room where she could jam out all she liked.
Oh, Zozo, you're the best. I couldn't be happier.
Take a second to hide in there. I think I can hear another bubble monster coming towards us. Spider Queen hid away inside the room I'd made for her as I went out to battle the bubble monster.
Pigless sends her regards. We're gonna destroy you for her, one way or another, or she's gonna do it herself.
She's gonna need to destroy me herself, because there's no way you're up to the task, Bubble Boy. With my new stone sword, the bubble monster didn't stand a chance. He was soon defeated, and I returned to Spider Queen. It's okay, the bubble monster is gone now. You're safe.
We are the champions! Yay! Thank you for saving us, Zozo. Here, have one of my guitars. It plays music while you fight with it.
Spider Queen gave me the guitar, and I immediately equipped it. Whoa, this is cool as heck.
Oh yeah, we will rock you.
On day 6, I started the day with the wholesome act of sheep gathering, just in case I need the wool for a new Spidey suit. I wandered into the woods, and after a long time, emerged from them, seeing a road. Whoa, where am I? I followed the road and soon found myself in a cul-de-sac with some really cool and colorful houses nearby. Is that a flying orange? At the base of the flying orange, I saw some sheep wandering around, just what I was looking for. I started to round up the sheep when an orange boy came bounding out of the orange at me.
Get away from my sheep, you costume creep!
Whoa, hang on a second. I didn't want to hurt him, but he wouldn't listen to me.
Richie, what are you doing? Leave that guy alone.
Yeah, Richie, he didn't know those were your sheep.
Richie stopped chasing me as 3 more characters, one of which looked like a bear, came running over to me.
Max, do you know who this guy is? It looks like he might be dangerous.
Relax, Beast. I'm sure he's fine. Whoa, that suit is awesome. Did you invent that? I'm something of a scientist myself.
You guys are being so rude. What's your name? I'm Sky. This is Beast, Max, and Richie.
I'm Zozo, and yeah, this is my Spidey suit. One of the icy variety anyway. What are you guys doing out here? But before they could answer, I saw the last person I wanted to see. It was Pigless. She had found me, and she was wielding a huge, terrifying mace.
Like my new hardware, Spider-Man? This mace is one of the most powerful weapons out there. Perfect for squishing a nasty little bug like you.
Whoa, who is the little piggy?
Max, don't provoke her. Can't you see what she's holding?
Hey, who do you think you are talking to our new friend like that?
Oh, glad to know there's no hard feelings about the sheep. This is Pigless Polly. She kinda wants to destroy me.
Enough jibber-jabber. I'll squash all of you then.
Yeah, we'd like to see you try.
We're not scared of you.
Max threw down a mysterious item on the ground, and a bunch of armor appeared out of it. His friends suddenly put on armor that matched their colors, along with some matching swords.
Fine. No need to ruin a perfectly good neighborhood. But mark my words, Spidey. I'll find you again, and I'll be stronger than ever.
Pigless Polly turned and ran, leaving me alone with Max and his friends. Whoa, guys, thanks for the help. I could use you guys back at my base.
That sounds really fun, but I don't think we can make it. To answer your question from before about what we're doing here, I'm a YouTuber, and I document all the crazy adventures my friends and I go on.
Yeah, if you've got some days to spare, you should hang out with us.
You know, I could actually use a couple days to lay low after that encounter. Let's do it! From day 7 to day 8, well, actually, you'll just have to click the link in the description to watch what I did on days 7 and 8 with Max and his friends. Our adventure is just in English though, but it was super fun. And if you watch, be sure to leave a comment on his video to let him know I sent you. From day 9 to day 10, I was on my way back to my base with some sheep as a gift from Richie. When I arrived, Spider Queen came running over to talk to me.
I've been building, Zozo. Come, check it out.
She'd been building a lot, in fact. One of the first things I'd seen was the statue she'd been working on to inspire me. I couldn't tell what it was yet, but I was very excited to find out. Do you have any ideas? Let me know down in the comments. And the statue wasn't all. She'd also been working on some new buildings and upgrades for the base itself, including a storage room for all of our gear, a training room for practicing our skills, and a furnace for smelting ore into ingots. I'm so glad to have you here, Spider Queen.
And I'm grateful to have you here as a friend. You're the best friend I've ever had, Zozo.
Last thing I did for the day was set up a basic sheep pen and went to bed. From day 11 to day 12, Spider Queen and I relaxed while she practiced her music. I've been wondering, why do you think Pigless Polly believes I'm her Spider-Man? How can there even be more than one Spider-Man?
I've got a theory about that, actually. I think when you spawned, it created a dimensional rift that sent this universe's Spider-Man into your native dimension while bringing you here, like a big cross-dimensional swap.
Whoa, that's wild! How can you know all this when you're just a one-spider tribute band? No offense, of course.
I actually have a degree in trans-dimensional physics. It's more of a hobby thing, really. Being a Queen tribute act is my real ambition.
From day 13 to day 15, I returned to the beautiful Jacaranda Forest with a plan in mind. Defeat that dastardly Barry B. Benson, the mutated bee. He's gotta be around here somewhere. I mean, he's so aggro, I imagine he'll come looking for me. And I was right. After a little more searching, Barry the mutated bee ran in and prepared to attack me.
There you are! You've been due for a good thrashing, Zozo! I still haven't forgiven you for your trespasses against me earlier!
I still don't fully understand what I did, but if we've gotta fight, let's just get it over with and fight!
Finally, you're making some sense!
And so, our battle began. I battered him with my guitar until he submitted, but I decided against finishing him off because honestly, I felt sorry for him. Go talk to your ex-wife, Barry. You clearly have some pent-up anger issues, and you're not gonna solve them by beating up random strangers.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry for all the trouble, Zozo.
And with that, he left. But my act of kindness and mercy gave me some XP to level up, getting 30 hearts, getting bigger and stronger, and getting a web shooter, which I could use to shoot webs. About time. I wonder. Whoa! I can also ride the webs as they fly through the air. Awesome! At long last, some real Spider-Man powers. This is great! From day 16 to day 19, I decided that I couldn't battle every baddie with just a guitar, so I went down into the nearest mining cavern to find some iron ore. Spider-Man wants his hands on some iron, man. And my catchy theme song worked, because I did manage to find a vein of iron ore and immediately started mining it. This seems like about enough to make the tools I want. Time to head back to my base. But on the way out of the mining cave, I saw a dangerous zombie spawner standing in my way. But wait, this is a perfect opportunity to try out my new web shooter. I started throwing down cobwebs, trapping the zombie spawner in place and slowing him down to a crawl. With him lodged in place, it was easy to finish him off with my rockin' guitar. Yeah, that power is gonna be really useful. After that, I went back to my base and smelted the ore in my furnace until I had just enough ingots to make a metal sword and a metal pickaxe, axe, and some boots. This has been an extremely successful excursion. From day 20 to day 22, I was having the most amazing dream when I was suddenly woken up by Spider Queen standing anxiously next to my bed.
Zozo, I'm sorry to wake you up, but something really scary is happening.
Oh no, what's that?
I was playing Bohemian Rhapsody a little too loudly, and I think Piglet's heard me. Long story short, she's standing outside.
What?
Now I think we need to fight her.
It's too dangerous for you, Spider Queen. Stay in here. I'll go and face her alone. And that's exactly what I did. I got out of bed and ran out to battle Piglet, who was still wielding her terrifying mace.
There you are, Spider-Man. Not so tough with all your colorful friends no longer around. It's time for you to meet your doom.
I keep telling you, I'm not the Spider-Man you're looking for. I come from a different dimension. I'm the ICE Spider-Man.
Well, even if you aren't my Spider-Man, I'll still settle for getting to destroy a Spider-Man. And you'll do just fine.
If your mind's made up, then I guess we better fight! And we did, but this time, I had a way better chance. I threw down some cobwebs immediately, trapping Piglet in place before pulling out my iron sword and going to town. In the end, she broke free from the cobwebs, but she seemed startled.
You're stronger than I remember. I don't have time for this. We'll battle again soon, and next time you won't be so lucky.
She fled after that, leaving me feeling stronger and more confident than ever. If I keep getting stronger, I think I can finally take her. From day 23 to day 26, I spent some time at my base, calmly collecting myself and spitting together a new addition to my spider suit. I used the wool from the sheep I got from Richie and some emu feathers that were laying on the ground to weave some Outback leggings. With these, I could move faster and dodge out of the way of projectiles. Now I've really got the agility of a spider. It wouldn't be perfect. There was only about a 45% chance I'd be able to avoid oncoming attacks, but it was the edge I would need in my next battle with Piglet. And if you think this adventure is getting wild, then you should search for more videos and see more of my Minecraft challenges. Just type ZOZO into the search bar up above. From day 27 to day 31, while I was still hunkered down at the base in the secret woods, I noticed Spider Queen seemed to be struggling with her statue. What's wrong, Spider Queen?
Zozo, I just feel so under pressure. It's pushing down on me. I want to get the statue finished, but I'm missing a very key component.
Hey, it's okay. You've been doing great so far. Here, why don't I help you out? What's this component you need to add to your statue?
I just need some redstone blocks.
Say no more. I'll go and fetch some.
Thank you, Zozo.
I ventured off to track down large quantities of redstone, making my way towards the Twilight Valley. This place was a lot darker than the other areas I had visited. The shadows were the perfect cover for some bubble monsters to sneak up and ambush me.
There he is! Get him! Piglet's orders!
Hey, come on, guys. Surely there's a peaceful way around this. Piglet can't be paying you that much.
It's not always about the money, Spider-Man. It's about the Mets, baby. Let's go. Get a home run!
Jerry, quiet down. Sorry, he gets a little excited about baseball. Oh, hey, where'd he go?
Over here, Bubble Brain. I turned the shadows to my advantage and struck the bubble monsters in place with my cobweb attacks. They tried to swipe at me from the spots they were stuck to, but a few swinging smashes with my slamming six strings and their bubbles were burst. And just my luck, nearby there was a large deposit of redstone ore, so I gathered it up for Spider Queen. From day 32 to day 35, I continued patrolling around the Twilight Valley for any more signs of trouble, along with any more useful resources I could bring back. And while I was wandering around, I overheard the sound of distressed wailing.
Help! Oh, won't someone help me? I'm far too important to need to ask for help.
Hey there, who are you?
Oh, what a rather humorous joke. Quite amusing, yes, imagine not knowing who I am. Why, you've cheered me up somewhat, small spidery peasant.
I wasn't kidding. I don't know who you are.
Don't know? How insulting. I am royalty. I am the King Pig, pig-headed head of the pig-head monarchy.
Oh, my bad. Are you needing help with something?
Well, it's about time you offered. My benefactor, the rich mummy, has run afoul of a hairy troll. And since he provides me with a lion's share of his wealth, I'm distraught. He's not even written me into his will yet, so I won't get any of his gold if that troll smashes him.
You, want me to go save him? Yeah, I'm a superhero after all.
Oh, a hero of the common folk. How quaint. Yes, on you go, Spider Boy.
It's Spider-Man! ICE Spider-Man! From day 36 to day 39, I searched the Twilight Valley for any signs of this rich mummy, and eventually came across my first sign of where he might be, a troll's mini base. I watched from a distance, and it looked like the hairy troll was guarding the front entrance. If I tried to just walk up, he could smash me to spider smithereens. So I had to think up a strategy. How was I going to get in there? I'd need to take the troll out, but attacking head-on was a bad idea. Sneaking around the back? It could work, but it might take too long, and the rich mummy might be doomed if the troll got hungry before I could reach him. Think, Zozo, think! You can do whatever a spider can. Oh, could I climb in? I tried on a nearby tree, but I couldn't stick to it. No climbing up walls for me, that stinks. I could ride my web shooter, but he will spot me immediately. That's not gonna work either. Maybe my best option was to look for another way in. From day 40 to day 43, I made my way around the outskirts of the troll's mini-base, and lucky for me, there was a back entrance. Inside, I found the rich mummy trapped in a cage.
Who might you be? Oh no, you're not with him, are you? Oh ghastly, you must be his torturer.
No, I'm ICE Spider-Man. I'm here to save you. Just keep it down. I need to clear the way ahead. Then, I'll come back for you. I snuck through the base and spotted the hairy troll. He didn't see me coming, so I used the element of surprise while I had it. I spun my webs to catch him in place, but he was strong enough to tear himself free. It barely slowed him down. He swung his mace at me, and I was luckily able to dodge out of the way just in the nick of time, thanks to my Outback leggings. I retaliated by swinging my guitar at him, but the hairy troll had a high resistance to rock. Thinking quick, I used my webs again, not to get him stuck, but to blind him. It worked! I could get close enough to bash the hairy troll with my guitar and defeated him! With the troll out of the way, I went back to free the rich mummy and led him back to the king pig.
Ah, Reginald, so good to see you. Thank you for your assistance, Spider Peasant. You may leave my mighty presence now.
So much for grateful. From day 44 to day 49, I finally made my way back to base to deliver the redstone blocks that Spider Queen needed.
This is perfect. Exactly what I needed. Zozo, you make the rockin' world go round.
It was no problem, Spider Queen. Can't wait to see what you do with it. It was then that I took a look around the base. The whole place was in a real sorry state. I decided now that I had a moment to spare, I'd dedicate some time to cleaning up and improving the base with some defensive upgrades. I built a sturdy perimeter wall to stop any intruders from getting in. By the time I was done, Spider Queen had something to show me.
Ta-da! Open your eyes, look up to the sky, and see!
Wow, that's really something, Spider Queen.
Thanks, Zozo. It's not quite done, but it'll rock you when it's finished.
From day 50 to day 53, I awoke to the sound of a struggle. Spider Queen was in trouble.
Zozo, help! Help me! I want to break free! I've got to break free!
I rushed into action, but as soon as I stepped out of my room, I was greeted by a gang of bubble monsters.
Rise and shine, ICE Spider-Man.
I didn't order room service, guys.
It's on the house, no charge. Speaking of, boys, charge!
Outside, Piglet had arrived, and she was sending in hordes of her bubble minions to attack. I hadn't even had breakfast yet, and now I had to fend off monsters with all of my might. Good thing I got in my 8 hours last night.
We got that Spidey you're looking for, boss.
You idiots! That's the musician! I wanted the little brat in blue pajamas, not Leggy Mercury here!
I was still battling the bubble monsters. By the time I had finally burst every last one of them, I had gained enough XP to level up. Wow, I've heard some people start their day with a workout, but this is insane! I now had 50 hearts and a new ability, Ice Blast! I was quickly becoming the coolest superhero around. There was one problem, I'd lost my musical guest in the process. From day 54 to day 57, I decided my only option was to return to the pompous King Pig and see if he knew where I could find Pigless. King Pig, Pigless. I wonder if the two of them are related. Yeah, probably just a coincidence. A short journey later, and I was back in the Twilight Valley. All I had to do was listen out for the sounds of stolen moneybags, and sure enough, I found the monarch in front of his castle.
Oh, you're back. Spider something, wasn't it?
What if my servants sent for you?
No, I'm here to ask you some questions. And since you didn't even thank me for saving your friend, I'd say you at least owe me a little bit of your time.
My time is very valuable, like all the jewels and gemstones my servants brought me from far away. But I suppose I have a few moments to spare.
My friend was taken by Pigless. I need to know where she is.
Pigless? Pigless? Do not speak that name!
You know each other then?
She's a traitor to the crown, a deserter. She stormed out when she figured out she'd never be next in line to the throne. Gave her a real complex. She feels like she's better than everyone, but still not good enough if she can't rule.
Wait, so does that make her your sister? Or no, cousin? Royalty is confusing, and it seems like a lot of fuss over nothing.
Nothing? How dare you? We uphold a proud and noble tradition of theft. A tradition of tradition.
So where is Pigless now?
I don't keep in touch. She said some very hurtful things about me which weren't at all true. But last I heard, she resides in Red Rock Mountain, although the terrain is harsh, so you won't make it there in one piece with so little armor.
From day 58 to day 62, I decided to follow up on the one useful piece of advice the King Pig had to offer and set about crafting myself some tough new armor. I scoured the area until I found a cave that led to a mine tucked away deep underground, and in the mine was plenty of what I needed: diamonds! I managed to find quite a few, but not enough to make the armor I needed. Not wanting them to go to waste, I forged them into a mighty diamond sword for stronger attacks, and a matching pickaxe to make mining quicker and easier. I didn't have to wait long to test them out either. As it turned out, the mine belonged to a skeleton jackal who was none too happy about me mining his diamonds. But it didn't take more than a few swings of my shiny new blade to settle our differences. From day 63 to day 66, I decided, rather than rushing straight back into danger and venturing up the treacherous terrain of the Red Rock Mountain, I hiked back to base to catch up on some rest. That way, I could be ready and refreshed when I set off to save Spider Queen. But speaking of Spider Queen, when I returned to base, I was met with a saddening sight. Her statue left unfinished now that she'd been captured. I thought about completing it in her honor, but it felt too much like admitting defeat before I'd even tried to save her. So instead, I left it as it was. She could have the satisfaction of finishing her hard work once I'd gotten her back in one piece. Knowing her, she was probably looking forward to it. I settled in for the night, right in Spider Queen's bedroom. That way, I feel closer to her. Watch till the end of the video to see if we manage to save her. And why not click that subscribe button down below to stay tuned for future videos. From day 67 to day 70, I made my long journey towards Red Rock Mountain, scaling the dangerous Crimson Cliff Face and being careful to watch my step. One fall, and it could be all over. As I descended from the peaks, I spotted a path. I followed until I saw the looming structure that Pigless had made into her base, and the whole place was massive and absolutely crawling with her minions. While I was still scoping it out from a distance, I thought back to my mission to save the rich zombie from that hairy troll, and how I hadn't been able to enter through the front, but had better luck looking for a second way in. So I tried the same tactic again, heading around, scaling massive mountains, swinging from one hilltop to the other until I made it to the side of the base. I saw my entry point, an opening in the side. I aimed carefully and shot my web shooter to make my way in, and I landed right in the middle of a group of bubble monsters.
It's the spider! Get this sucker, boys!
Heck of a way to roll out the welcome wagon. You treat all your guests like this? I swung my diamond sword and instantly slashed the nearest two, taking care of the next with a well-timed ice blast. Another hit from my sword, and he was shattered to pieces, while the others were quickly stuck fast with my webs right where I could strike at them. From day 71 to day 74, I snuck around the inside of Red Rock Mountain Base, making sure to keep out of the path of Pigless's many minions. But there was one enemy I recognized.
Halt in the name of Pigless! Oh wait, it's you, Zozo!
Barry? Barry B. Benson?
Black and yellow, hello!
How are things with you and your wife?
Hard to say. We're still going through it. We're planning to go see a concert soon. She likes jazz.
That's good. So you're not gonna attack me?
Nah, you're good. I just need to think about some things.
It wasn't hard to see that his heart really wasn't all in on working for Pigless.
It's a good job. I mean, there's not a lot of coverage, no dental, stuff like that.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, sure. Listen, I shouldn't tell you this, but check the chest in the room up ahead. There's some handy stuff in there.
I went to investigate and found myself the proud owner of a full set of diamond armor. Whoa, Barry wasn't kidding. Now I can match the speed of a spider with the protection of diamonds. From day 75 to day 78, I explored a little more and found where Pigless had left Spider Queen trapped in a big cage. She'd clearly been singing to herself to keep her spirits up, but by now, she was just yelling in case any of the bubble monsters were passing by.
I just gotta get out of this prison cell. Someday I'm gonna be free. Oh, look, I want to break free. I've got to break free. Now? Please? Easy come, easy go. Will you let me go?
Now's good for you then?
Zozo! Oh, you're a sight for sore eyes. I've been so bored cooped up here. I want to get out and have fun. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike.
You have a bike? But you've got 8 legs.
I think it's a metaphor or something.
Well, I've got just the thing to break you out.
Gunpowder? Gelatine? Dynamite with a laser beam?
Close. It's a diamond sword. With a swing of the blade, I cracked open the lock and sent Spider Queen back to our base. She rushed off, and not a moment too soon, because Pigless had found me.
You! First you intrude on my dimension, then you intrude on my home. I'm going to squash you at long last, puny spider!
Pigless came at me, but I was able to freeze one of her feet in place, then web her hands to slow her down. I leaped close to swipe at her with my diamond sword, but just when I thought I had the upper hand, she knocked me back with a powerful hit. I decided to escape while I still could, and dashed out of the base. From day 79 to day 84, I was exhausted from the fighting, so the Spider Queen offered to give me a ride, which was really nice of her. We managed to make our way back to safety, but little did I realize that Pigless had had enough.
That little wretch! How dare he try to defy my right to rule! He and the rest of this overworld will soon see that they shouldn't have messed with Pigless!
With that, Pigless used a powerful potion to make herself even stronger. Now she'd be an even tougher fight when it came time for me to face off with her again. From day 85 to day 89, we arrived back at base, and my good friend Spider Queen, whose ride was surprisingly comfy, was super happy to be free from Pigless's cage.
Pigless thought she could stop me and spit in my eye. But we did it. We are the champions, my friend.
We sure are.
Look, I managed to swipe this from one of the guards at Pigless's base. I thought I could use it to break free, but instead, I was just screaming, "Let me out!" Anyway, I think you should have it. You're gonna take on the world someday.
Spider Queen handed me the upgrade. It was a fire aspect and sharpness 2 enchantment. I immediately went to apply it to my diamond sword to deal some extra damage. Now, I had the power of ice, fire, and spiders on my side. Once I was done improving my sword, I returned to find Spider Queen putting the final finishing touches on her statue.
Heyo, are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Then may I present to you my masterpiece. I call it Zohemian Rhapsody.
Zohemian?
Named after you, of course, Zozo. I can't keep living without you by my side.
I like it. Makes me feel ready to take on Pigless one last time.
Well, you better be careful. I saw she had a whole cabinet of potions to make her stronger. The bubble monsters steal them from King Pig's cellar and bring them back to her.
Huh, maybe I can intercept them and take a potion for myself. That ought to level the playing field.
And that way, you'll keep on fighting to the end.
From day 90 to day 94, I headed back towards the Twilight Valley and followed a trail that the bubble monsters had left from the King Pig's palace to a small camp they had set up nearby. Just like Spider Queen had told me, they had a potion of power, but it must have been the last one left.
Yep, that's the last one left.
Hey, boss, question. If Pigless had us stealing all these here potions, why doesn't she give each of us one? Then we'd all be a tougher army, and she could overthrow the King Pig.
We're not about that kind of talking. The potions are for Pigless.
I webbed the closest bubble monster in place, slashing the other with my newly enchanted fire aspect diamond sword. The heat popped them in an instant, and before the other two could get free, I cut them down too. I retrieved the last potion of power, but waited before I drank it. The King Pig's palace was only a short walk away, and maybe I could get one last favor from him. From day 95 to day 97, I walked right up to the King Pig's throne and showed him what I had recovered. You know what this is?
Why, that's an excellent vintage. One glass is worth the yearly wages of my entire staff. You'd better put that back in the cellar with the others before I have you executed.
There are no more others. Pigless had been sending her minions in to steal them from right under your nose.
Pigless? Something must be done about that treasonous traitor.
I'll take care of Pigless, but only if you let me keep this potion and be way nicer to your servants. In fact, stop hoarding all this fancy expensive stuff. Learn to share.
Share? What is that? I'm not familiar with this common folk slang.
You have a whole library here. Look it up in the dictionary. After a few moments of learning what sharing was, the king pig returned.
Preposterous! If how do I pronounce it? Shared, I wouldn't have all my power and riches.
But that might not be such a bad thing, if even a fraction of your wealth might improve the lives of other people.
So if I, say for example, just gave you this netherite armor, then how would that improve anyone's life?
Well, with that, I could take down Pigless, which is also what you want, isn't it?
Yes, but confound it! What commoner wizardry is this? You've confused me. I need to go lie down. Here, this is yours, I think.
With that, the king pig handed over an entire set of netherite armor. Now I had the most powerful protection against Pigless. On day 98, I returned to my base to make the final preparations I needed to ahead of my big battle with Pigless. I had my diamond sword at the ready, enchanted with a powerful fire aspect for added flaming damage. I had my netherite armor on, ready to defend me against oncoming damage. Plus, I had my ICE SPIDERMAN powers at the ready. I even tested out my ice blasts and cobwebs, and they were ready to go. Before leaving though, I stopped by Spider Queen's room to tell her how to get to Max's neighborhood. If I didn't make it back, she would need a safe place to live. Now there was just one question: what was going to happen next? If you think you know, then leave your answers in the comments. And while you're there, tell us what video you'd like to see next. On day 99, I made my final journey to Red Rock Mountain and stopped just outside the entrance to Pigless's base. It was quiet, too quiet. All her minions seemed to have run off in fear. If they were that scared of her new, more powerful form, then I needed to be prepared. I drank the potion of power, and this upgraded me to my final form. I now had a full 100 hearts, and the last of my ICE SPIDERMAN powers were finally unlocked. I could climb walls. Ready for anything, I headed inside to find Pigless waiting for me. She was much bigger and stronger than before, and way more vicious.
I was meant to rule this overworld. It's my birthright, and I won't have you meddling in my destiny any longer.
Oh, I don't think so, Pigless. The battle was on. Pigless hurled a javelin at me, but thanks to my super spider agility and my outback leggings, I dodged right out of the way, then climbed up the nearby wall so I was out of her reach. From my vantage point, I fired ice blasts and cobwebs at her, trying to slow her down.
Get down from there!
She threw another javelin, and I went to get out of the way, but I timed it wrong and fell. I quickly picked myself up and got back into the fight. It was the toughest of battles, but Pigless seemed to be overexerting herself. I managed to keep dodging away, climbing the walls, and using my webs to slow her down, until finally I landed an ice blast.
This is too cold.
Don't worry, my sword has a fire aspect enchantment. It should help turn up the heat. With a mighty strike, I had done it! Pigless was defeated at last! On day 100, instead of returning to my base, I returned victorious to Max's neighborhood, where I was immediately greeted by Spider Queen, as well as Max and his friends.
Another one bites the dust. Great work, Zozo. I knew you were gonna be a big man someday.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you, Spider Queen.
Oh, you're too kind. You're the champion here, Zozo.
Spider Queen really livened the place up with her music, but we're glad to see you made it back in one piece.
Me too, and everyone should click the link in the description to check out the adventure we went on together. Then, much to my surprise, the King Pig also showed up.
Zozo, my boy, you didn't tell me that sharing also came with this delightful feeling. I don't really know what it's called, but seeing the smiles on my servants' faces gave me one of those, what are they called? Emotions?
You mean you feel happy?
That's the ticket, and I've been reading up too. Did you know that all the traditions of the pighead monarchy are centuries old? It seems so silly to still be upholding them.
So what did you do?
Oh, I gave my palace and all my riches to my servants. Except they aren't my servants anymore, just people. And so am I. Look at me, one of the people. Now, who is your charming eight-legged friend here?
Well, you might be a former King Pig, but she's Spider Queen.
And we will rock you.